Flying on pure imagination, finding places where it meets with the let's escape. I wanna see the oceans roar. Take me away, oh. I wanna see the oceans roar and the mountains move. Let's escape home to a place where dreams are doors you can't walk through. Flying on pure imagination, finding places where it means heaven. Take my hand and we'll run forever. Every day on a new adventure. Take my hand and we'll run forever. Every day on a new adventure.
Za uwe fruik ni maya nifta banting nikunting nari Tumpai akatos ake akatos ekon talana werutasi Za uwe fruik ni maya nifta banting nikunting nari Tumpai akatos ake akatos ekon So don't let me fall where I don't belong. I can't go back and lose it all. But you bandage your eyes. There's no power that can make time turn back. Time turn back. Time goes. But you bandage your eyes. There's no power that can make time turn back. Time turn back. Time goes. The moon always feeds the madness, and its tide always pulls me in, deeper into this unrest, further from where I fit. They told me, give change a chance. Instead I'm dancing with the minute, and they never told me it would feel so bad. Don't know how much else I can withstand. The way
Don't know how much else I can withstand. So wait, it's getting too heavy on the mind. So wait, it's getting too heavy on the mind. So why? Time is running out, and I can stop it. Our love ain't fine, and I am burning. There is no line if you are far from me. What can I do if I don't see you again? I'm not crazy, I am just as scared. So baby, please don't go, 'cause I will miss you. You shake my mind, you burn my heart, you stop time, baby, I'm staying here, and I'll be waiting for you. You shake my mind, you burn my heart, you stop.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to an evening of biased casting featuring your host, Cradden, and also an actually really good unbiased caster, which is Nymera. How's it going?
It's going okay today. Of course, it's been a bit of a difficult week for me. Those of you that have been following my casting, I wasn't for casting VL for the last couple of weeks. I was put into Valence League prison for an unfortunate series where there was a player called Megaballs, and it was quite hard to stop making quite bad jokes. So I was put into prison alongside my casting partner, Initialize. Luckily, I've been let out on parole. Sam, not quite yet. He shivved someone in Valence prison. So I hope I impress today and I can be reintroduced back into society.
Yeah, Sam Shiv really appropriate there, as is Impressed, because Impressed was another person who got paroled by the parole officer Blaze. So Blaze, keep up your good work. You've got a team from 6th position, hopefully to 5th. You've got Nymera out of jail. Long may your good work continue. So yeah, it's going to be a great evening tonight. We've got my team as of 2 weeks ago, Natural Summon Killers, I'm now on the academy, versus United Poros of Runeterra, which are a new team in Div 1 that has sort of took the division a bit by storm.
Kind of, but they are still unfortunately sat down in those 5th and 6th place spots in Division 1, so they will not be making a playoffs as far as I'm aware. And that's kind of sad for both teams, but of course still pride on the line, and they get to do it on stream too, so that's a bit exacerbated here.
Yeah, it's one thing to call it a dead rubber because there's no relegation, what with Vulpine Esports relocation to not being in the league, hashtag we are Vulpine. But from now on, 5th and 6th, UPR and NSK, there's a lot of bragging rights on the line, and with both teams having gone 0-2 in their last outings, there's a lot to prove, especially with, as you said, the stream factor.
Absolutely, and we enjoy casting these games too. That being said, I have not cast UPR before. They're a new team. I've been spending my time around different divisions too, not spent all that much time in Division 1. So what are you expecting out of this game? Because they are adjacent to each other in the table.
Yeah, and it remains to be seen whether they're going to be adjacent in skill, very close. To be honest, UPR have been sort of the mixed bag, the question mark, the Pandora's box of Div 1 for me.
Yes.
I can sort of see they've got rounded champion pools. I can see that they've shown up with consistent players. And on different days, they can go 2-0, 0-2, and then they've been the only team to take a game off Horizon Shadow. So I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, in fact, they've been so all over the place that good friend of mine, person who's also been casting a bit of the VL every day, he genuinely thought they were win trading. He genuinely thought they were so inconsistent that they were win trading. Yet to be proven, we'll see. But I'm hoping to see the good side of United Poros of Runeterra tonight, because it's always nice for me, at least from the analytical standpoint, to have some stuff to dig my teeth into and say, hey, that was good, or that wasn't so good.
Yeah, and it looks fairly standard in terms of what they're going for. They've got a lot of meta in what they play. The top laner plays a lot of bruisers. They've got a hard engage, hard CC. They've got an engagey jungler with a side of Hecarim thrown in, maybe a bit of Smite Ignite coming at you. And a pretty meta bot lane. We're probably not expecting many double mage bot lanes or some weird Yasuo Yone combos tonight. Jeez. But you never know.
So what you're saying is Sedrania Aurelia first game. Okay, I'm prepared. I will put my notes up on the screen. Right, yeah, so of course it is worth noting that there is a Yasuo player down in the bot lane. We'll see if that ends up coming out. There's not necessarily alongside the Yone like you were saying, but some things to keep our eyes on. I'm trying to see if there's any overlap anywhere. There is the Orianna in the mid lane, but it seems like pretty much everyone plays Orianna. And I know it's kind of become a bit of a Div 1 meme that Orianna is just kind of banned away from everyone, because you're always taking it away from someone.
Yeah, you've got Key, you've got Freezy, you've got definitely a couple of mids in there. It feels like the old meme of Orianna's the most balanced mid laner since Season 2. She appears everywhere. She's at Worlds, gets buffed into just the right position before Worlds, makes those plays. But then again, you've always got people like Jaded in Div 3 who can show up with like a Talon and just destroy everyone in front of them. Like, man, I don't know what to go for here.
Speaking of Talon, because Sam and I covered their playoff series, which they unfortunately lost last split, and I believe Jaded pulled out Talon for like the first time the entire split and was just making AD carries cry. There's something to be said about people's comfort champions, which is why when I look through all these champions, I'm like, that's meta. It's better. But where's the cheese? Where's the cool stuff, right? Because there's something to be said about a team that can practice around something that's a little bit off base and come out really far ahead with it. So I don't know if anyone's going to pull out something weird today. I'll look forward to it if they do, though.
And yeah, one of the things I really like to see is when you look at someone's champion pool, you look for the one-trick nature. You look to see the ranked games played on the top 10 champions. And if that first number is a stupid amount of games bigger than the rest, you know you're in for something special, like a target ban. And in fact, Drazer's Rumble and Ava's Warwick do fit that. They've got something like 160 games respectively on those two champions, more than twice their second most played.
I think
so
that's more than I
yeah,
think that's more games than I've played in ranked this season.
that either says something about the unwavering dedication or masochism of these two players,
Yeah, I know,
or
right?
you're not
It's
really
like-
liking League of Legends that much.
It's like it's like someone really is having a bad time when they're playing solo flex queue. That's when you realize things have hit rock bottom. It cannot get any worse.
One of the things I was looking at, we were going to have Vengeance Deja Vu until that last minute reschedule. Thanks, guys. And we were going to see.
We really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, great move. Cheers from John Joe as well, from all the production team. So Nieni was going to be playing, we think, in the jungle. It could have been a last second roster swap. And we thought so because he'd played just in a different role, but then you could see in the last 20 games, nearly every single one hacker him in the jungle. So at some point, someone had implanted the idea that he was a free horse running out of his stable, and he took it onto the rift.
I'm trying to remember if it was a DreamWorks film. Was it Spirit, that one about the horse? I only remember that one movie about horses.
I know Dreamer, is that the one?
I have no idea. I should have started this reference with a bit more knowledge myself. I haven't. I apologize, and we'll get into draft soon.
And I think with horse movies, you can sort of write all of them in the same way. There's a really complex background reality drama, and all of it can be summarized.
Needs a friend or a companion that finds emotional intelligence in the horse more so than in human. You know how it is.
There we go. There's I'm thinking of Warhorse, which is a completely different film to that. No, never mind. It's exactly the same. So yeah, insert your own horse-themed
the horse movie.
blockbuster
This
here.
one has guns.
the Lego movie, the Emoji movie, the horse movie, they're all the same.
I'm learning so much today. Okay, we're into picking bands. First band of the hacker ring. No horse movies. We'll have none of that.
Yeah, someone must have been watching the stream, and that is Donga Quixote. Brilliant name, by the way.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, that's their closest thing to a one-trick, pulling it out frequently in ranked, so that's gone as well. Yeah, looking at what bands we might have, I was really looking for the Rumble and the Warwick, and there's one of them already.
So it is Caitlyn. Ban on blue side though. Okay, I guess it's at this kind of elo. It's not the kind of hamstring it might be in a higher ranked game where you kind of have to pick Caitlyn on blue side or force the ban out on the red side. It's just efficient, right? So it has been taken away, just deciding we'd rather play something else in the bot lane if we're not comfortable doing it, and we're absolutely not going to let Potato Spaghetti have it.
Potato Spaghetti, there's all sorts you could do there. Now the name might suggest feeding, but the champion pool might suggest otherwise. Generally, when it comes to this elo, it's my elo, we generally look at the Caitlyn and the Ashe and go, you either pick one, let the other team pick one, or ban them both away. That's going to happen. So I guess what we're going to see from the third ban here, not Ashe, it's going to be an Ashe first pick.
And the Jin Zhao being taken away. Alright, so early ganks being taken away from Dong. That is such a good name, by the way. Dong Quixote. I was going to say something. Orianna, that's a champion. We said that before. It's like, oh, wow, this champion gets taken away from everyone. That is also worthy of maybe not first pick, but maybe first round on red side or into picks 2 and 3 onto blue side. Have to see what the teams are really prioritizing, right? Because if they're prioritizing stuff which isn't high presence in picking ban, maybe it slips through the later parts of the draft and you don't need to worry about picking that up early and showing their hand. Or something like the Orianna, the Ashe, everyone plays it, it's a good takeaway, and you're right, of course it's going to be the first pick. Even though it's been nerfed, everyone still loves it.
There we go, and not only is Ashe a really nice, almost conventional AD carry, I really like it that what NSK have been trying to do recently, at least with me on the team, they may have completely changed in the last 2 weeks, is concentrate on a mid-game team fighting comp that can be summarized with just get in the middle, do fights at 20 minutes and just press the R buttons. Ashe works, Orianna works. I'll be very surprised if Warwick isn't added to that because Ava's other 2 top junglers have been gone in this draft.
Sure, and I think every group of players has a different style that they gravitate towards naturally. You end up getting your practice games and figuring out what kind of floats to the top of all your picks and how they come together. Back when I was playing competitive and I was doing UK university stuff, that ended up being like team fight mid lane and bot lane with tank and top lane, and you kind of put all of these roles in position. You just make sure all of your champions fulfill that role in some way, so all of your learned skills can transfer. Having someone like Ashe, very, as you were saying, traditional AD carry, does go straight down the middle of that description, and whatever they're trying to do, hopefully we have those transferable skills applied to it.
Then again, you've got people like Law, who was my ADC partner. Will remains to be seen whether he'll go into the academy or wreak havoc behind the scenes of VL. He has a list where he has all sorts of weird comps, and whenever we get bored of doing things in official scrims, he'll just pull out the list. It'll be one of several comps and go, "Okay, guys, today we are picking 5 Yordles," and that's what will come out. I'm hoping that someone's like switched the playbook that Brandon or Impress has and replaced it with one of Law's comps, but I'm not seeing any Yordles, just Lilia, a heavy champion played by Ava, and Maokai, who can be played either jungle, top, support, and presses W and R to get into fights.
Absolutely, but then he's kind of taken out of that fight by Set's Showstopper, and because Set's Showstopper does damage based on that target's maximum HP, if you dunk that tree on top of Ashe, that AD carry is now gone from the fight. Speaking of AD carries, it's Ezreal locked in for United Poros, Ovra, and Runeterra. So very high damage spike on that 2 items. That can do a lot of damage towards Maokai in the late game. We're looking at a comp which, you're talking about NSK, hey, they spike really well in the mid game, maybe when Maokai's got, or at least they've been practicing that. With the Lilia and the Maokai, once they get to Leandries or the first item onto Maokai, stuff like that, now they have to do that versus the heaviest mid game spiking champion in the game in that Ezreal.
Yeah, Ezreal getting that Mana Moon online and just getting those pokes down. I really like the idea of Ezreal going in with Swain and Set, because when Swain and Set are able to isolate a target, maybe get the flank off in a team fight, maybe just land a Swain E if it's an Ezreal Swain bot lane, Ezreal can blink in and just follow up with unholy free amounts of damage, but also he has the safety for when the opposing team of NSK try to do the same. Really nice choice.
Yeah, and remember that Swain has had his changes recently. His W increases with range with each rank, and at max rank, it is semi-global. That thing is absolutely huge, and it does a lot of damage. It can start impacting another lane. If you do it from bot lane, you just walk up into like River Brush and you can hit mid lane. If you do it from mid lane, you do the same thing. You walk down to Pixel Brush and you can hit a bot lane 2v2. And what that means is there's not just about the individual matchup, it's how it can somehow affect the map on like a 20-second cooldown.
Yeah, you really have to be on your toes when playing against that one. It's a support pick I've been playing recently, but it might convert into top on Academy as well.
You're talking about that ban you wanted to see. There's the Rumble, and what was the other one again?
That was indeed the Warwick, yes, Nomura.
Good. Okay, well, that one's not been put into champion jail, much like I've been released from it, so has Warwick.
Yeah, so Warwick can now again make Megapulse jokes, none of which will be happening in this best of 3 series.
No. Who do that, right?
So yeah, a lot of hard CC coming out. You've got the Fear off Warwick, you've got the Infinite Duress, follows up very well with the set if they can chain their CCs together. Swain coming in as well, looks nice.
Yeah, it does. The single target pick, as long as everyone's coordinated and in position to follow up, yeah, it's really, really high. And when you've got targets like Ashe and Lilia who do not do well against very hard CC, that's something you can prey upon. And also, if Lucian gets over aggressive in the mid lane, because that's where we assume it's going to go, unless there's going to be some random Maokai mid, that's another place where you can really put the crosshair over and see what happens. Now we've got UPR trying to round up their comp. They've already got their ADC. They probably have their jungler and Warwick too, and this means that could be either set support Swain mid or the opposite. And it looks like it's going to be the Malphite tank top lane, or of course it could be AP2.
Ooh, I love the amount of ways that UPR have of engaging. You've got the direct route with the Unstoppable Force, you've got the flank coming round, you've got all sorts of jiggery pokery with the Swain W leading into an E catch out. You've even got Warwick jumping over a Wraith camp somewhere. It's really great at just engaging multiple ways, whereas what I think NSK are going for, I've seen it before with Lilia and Ziggs, with Key playing the Ziggs. Just Ava managing to sleep someone from halfway across the map, and then Key immediately following up in a combo that all of the NSK team at the time described as bullshit. I think I can say that on stream, yes.
Well, you have done now. We'll see. We'll see if you have to have your own parole later. I mean, I've seen a similar combo with Sion into the Lilia ult. It removes someone immediately. They are gone. It's really good when you're fighting around objectives. If you just sit on the dragon, if you get priority on that, you just keep throwing the swirl seeds down river, and you keep doing it for the next cooldown. You wait for that key engage, and then you can throw something like the Maokai ult at them, lock them up, or the Ashe ult, of course, too. Speaking of that Maokai ult, it's probably amongst like the 2 most important cooldowns for NSK this game, because we know that UPR, huge engage comp, but Maokai is a disengaged champion with his ult. If you dive into that Nature's Grasp, it locks up in place, Ashe Lucian tear you down, and that's the way I think that NSK could come back into this game. Well, I mean, come back. It's not even started yet. You know what I mean? That's the thing you can do.
No, NSK haven't done well recently, but at least they get to start every game from 0-0. They don't have to come back yet. But yeah, you're right. They have a lot of ways
Scam,
of
you're starting with a 2-kill handicap. Come to the river now.
2-kill handicap, and to be honest, the VL admins have got enough 3-ban handicaps going out with Sacramento and Fireflies on another game. While I mention that, by the way, the second stream is live now, and if you're looking for Whiffs Elite and Team Augulus in League of Legends action, you're in luck. Those are the two teams that are playing on that stream, so go over and check them if you like those two teams better than these two, and you shouldn't because they're awesome. NSK, UPR are going to give us a great bloodbath. The one that I didn't expect was the Malphite mid Chimera.
Now, it is yet to be seen whether this will be tank. Malphite, if he goes into Tabby, Bramble vs Sunfire, and maxes W into Lucian, Lucian doesn't do damage. After like those items come in, then that means you've nullified the majority of the damage coming out from NSK. If this is going to be a tank Malphite, that's a huge front line. Then the problem is that, of course, Ezreal needs to be the brunt of the carrying from the side of UPR. So a number of different ways they could build it, and that changes the way they have to fight around the game, because if they do go for the AP nuke, Malphite's much more about flanks, getting access into the backline, following up with that huge engage like we've been saying right from the off. Whereas if it's more tank, it's about the front to back, buy space for Ezreal, let him do the carrying.
Yeah, you've got nice secondary damage from Swain, but if you're going to do the front to back, Ezreal has to be the main focus. He's got the mobility, and he has the mid-game spike that we've already mentioned. Yeah, NSK have to get around that, and it will be very difficult if they have a tank line of 3 champions and a semi-tank who's throwing down the Ravens and sort of stopping you in your tracks.
That being said, you know, Swain, I mean, the thing about Braum is that often we say, how do you counter Braum? You just kind of pick enchanters into him because he's not an aggressive enough support to really punish a lot of them. In some lanes, he can be with like a Lucian Braum, right? Lucian, of course, going to the mid lane this game, so that won't be the lane. At least we generally hope so. But if you pick something like the Swain, his damage is just really high for quite good mana efficiency too. If he lands an E, Ezreal gets the free damage like you were saying. But it's not like Swain is not putting out insignificant damage. And if he gets too far ahead, suddenly Ashe needs to be very, very afraid of the spot lane duo.
Yeah, and it's one that can go very quickly from sort of poking, standoffing, one screen away to suddenly it's caught you and half your health's gone before Braum even knows what to do. It's a lane where you need to keep your wits about you on either side.
Actually, you know one thing I really want to see? So there is the interaction between Swain E and Braum E. If you pop your shield and you get hit by the first part of it, it immediately pops and roots people. So if he stood on top of people, he might end up baiting his AD carry into a root if he pops that cooldown at the wrong time. So I want to see that this game. Well, I don't want to see it, but I kind of want to see it because it'd be funny.
We call that anti-synergy, like if you have a Tristana and a Pyke in one lane and they both ult at the same time. It is beautiful to see as a caster in the most tragic way, but also in the most beautiful way. We're going to get into the lobby screen. Well, I'm going to call it the loading screen because that's what it actually is. That's the correct term for game 1. We're looking for weird sort of keystones, weird summoner spells, and we're seeing both supports take Ignite, so really underlines a lot of intent for Tent and Higher in that support role. 2 teleports on either side as well, so 2 champions that can flank in Maokai and Set. They're going to be backed up by potential double TPs late in the game.
Good heavens, look at the time. It's time for 8-man bot lane. Let's go. 2v2s, have the junglers come in. Actually, could be 10-man very, very easily in this game if everyone's got their wits about them. Lucian going for the teleport. Not sure I like that because I kind of feel like you're not going to side lane against Malphite particularly well into the late game. You kind of need the Ignite to pull over the early game, and maybe that allows Lilia to start getting ahead in this game, and you start snowballing with Lucian. That is, of course, unless he does go towards Mana Mune into Essence Reaver, Lord Dominate's Regards. At that point, he does better damage versus the tanks. I had just kind of thought about that and forgot that Lucian actually has build options, unlike some of the champions, so maybe that's something to keep an eye on for. But the early game, having teleport on the Lucian, that already strikes me as a little bit weird.
Yeah, and he's going up against Nelnan's Malphite here with the Arcane Comet, so of all the builds you can go, it certainly is one that suggests regular poke, getting that Q off the cheese wheel as much as possible, and against a fairly low health opponent like Lucian, it's going to be the way that Nelnan tries to get some early presence, and maybe gets a bit of a gank, a bit of pressure off, maybe a bit of peel over to the dragon. Who knows? We're predicting so much of the game, all from one cheese wheel.
Yes, we have our scripts in front of them. We should not leak them. I mean, the thing about the Lucian in this game is that it's not, until level 6, it's not exactly an easy gank, but if Lucian starts winning lane really hard, then it kind of is, because he just might get overconfident and push up too far, and then the likes of the Warwick can start coming in and fearing him back into turret. Not into turret, yeah, sure, something like that. That works.
And knowing key overconfidence is something he's fairly prone to. I'd really like to see how NSK evolves in this game. And we're going to get the stream aligned between us so we can cast in beautiful HD in perfect synchronicity.
Cool. Pause at 10 seconds.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Lovely.
Excellent. So we're bringing you into game one of a potential 3 games tonight between NSK and UPR. Not for promotion, not for relegation, just having a nice bloodbath on stream. And we are seeing NSK go for what I'm going to call the classic NSK invade. We do an 80% of scrims. You have been warned, audience. We're going through the top lane, and we're going into the opposing Tribrush trying to catch out the top laner, who isn't there.
It's like, did you ever watch the Airplane movie?
Leslie Nielsen, yes.
It is, yeah. It's like we've given our orders. At 40 seconds, we're going to invade their red buff through the topside jungle through the Tribrush. When are you going to be back? I can't tell you that. That's classified. Wait, so you already told me about the invade, but which bit's classified again?
They'll be asking each other what's their victor over. So yeah. We're gonna see a double ward there. Brilliant NSK synergy. I'm gonna rail into these guys so hard tonight, by the way. They're gonna look for a topside invade as UPR do a really nice defense of their own bot side and get a nice ward on the NSK red.
So both jungle stars likely to be tracked, or at least kind of pseudo-tracked. If you don't see them on the buff that you've scattered out, you assume that they're on the other one. Right now, it's actually looking low, like Ava is on the top side in the enemy red buff. Actually, might be going to steal those raptors at level 1. In fact, it looks like he's going to do that indeed.
Yeah, and it's a really nice play on the deception you've just pointed out. Everyone thinks Ava's on the opposing blue buff. If he's taking the raptors and goes for the red, that's a nice bit of deception, denies Donga Quixote a lot of XP in a standard jungle clear, and just starts the chess game that we know all junglers care about.
It does, and also look what Ashe and Braum just did. They came to lane at the same time that they would have done if they'd done a leash anyway, so no extra information has been given over. What this screams to me is that Big Bang on that set needs to be relatively careful. There could be an early gank coming in here.
Yeah, top lane is just trading at the moment. Maokai, of course, wanting to get those auto attacks off for the heal and for the grasp of the Undying stacks, but Set's going to keep punching away. I will see a lot of wet noodling for now.
Okay, so no top lane gank coming in just so far. Whereas Don Quixote sees that his raptors and his red buff are gone, is a little bit sad about the issue, and Lily has already escaped.
Oh, Senso and Tent putting down a lot of early harass, forcing the Arcane Shift. And we're going to have the Never move coming as well. Nice defense from UPR, but NSK taking control in the bot lane.
It looks like everyone's just kind of slapping themselves across the board. Warwick aimlessly walking around topside river. Doesn't really know where to go right now. Didn't go for that full clear on the bot side, so he's only sat at level 2. Looks like Ava will be taking Wolves just now. Will be hitting that level instead. And then probably just scooting on down to the bot lane.
And yeah, Lilia, I guess, won't have the health of a Warwick, the sustain of a Warwick in the early jungle. So it's really a nice bonus that you can get that agency in the early part of the game. Dreiser and Big Bang still trading.
Watch out that health bar regens when you Q Raptors that one time. We'll see how that ends up. It'll be pretty okay. Of course, it's not quite the same as Warwick. I don't think Lilia will be too displeased with everything. Hunter's Talisman on AoE camps is just disgusting.
So let's watch that. Instead, Ava's going to be in the bot river, has the crab on the loose, and is looking for just a lot of early pressure and levels.
Combo.
Uncontested in bot lane. Senso is on low health. Nice protection by Tent. Here comes the flash from Senso. They're going in the UPR bot lane. They force the ignite. Auto attacks are going to get first blood here. Tent looking for some retaliation. Potato Spaghetti is going to be fed, and that's a double for UPR in the bot lane. Key doing some trades in mid, but that was all bot action.
And Ezreal and Swain put the enemy bot lane through the ringer and turned them into spaghetti strands. 2 kills to the Ezreal. Always very scary. He is a time-dependent champion. He's often his strength is often determined by how quickly he gets to his Muramana Triforce spike. He's going to be reaching it early this game with those 2 kills.
And I like what Donga Quixote is doing at the moment. Hasn't had the chance to go back yet. We see Dreiser taking a lot of damage in the top lane. And goes for the counter jungle himself, taking out the Wolves, now the Gromp. Just both junglers, seeing both jungles as their own. Ava setting up a gank in mid, but now backing off.
Yeah, it's a free country, no borders here. It's just go take stuff where you find it, I guess. So it is going to be Warwick at least recouping some of the farm that I had lost out on from that early invade. Lilia, as you said, kind of moving now into the other side of the jungle. So it looks like both jungles on the same wavelength.
Okay, so Dreiser teleporting up topside, getting the extra XP from that cannon minion that he would have missed if walking. Handing over teleport advantage, though, which could be crucial if UPR decide to go for the early Drake. Ava will need to be cleared out the way, though, because it's his turn to counter jungle in the bot side, looking for agency, but it's unlikely that Tent and Sensor will be able to join him and push.
You know what? They could actually go for a dive here if they wanted to. You could teleport in with Lucian, because Lily was on that side, the wave was pushing up. I'm not going to go for it. It's one of the things which I kind of have to pay attention to when I'm in doing some of my pro level-ish games. Because sometimes people just have those macro thoughts like, ooh, we can do this cool thing. I'm not going to go for it this time, though. It is very, very risky, particularly against a Swain who can lock you up for so long.
Yep, the coolest thing we get to see is Key pressing teleport to get back to mid lane and launching press the attack to do some damage.
Such macro.
So much skill, wow. Doge, old meme, check it out on the internet, guys.
That's one of the classic ones. Now we're left with very surreal things. I don't understand this new brand of humor, you know. That's when I've realized I've kind of like, I'm no longer the cool teenager. Well, I'm not even a teenager, that would be why. But, you know, I'm beyond that now. I'm too far gone.
Yeah, you've now reached the age where you get called boomer on a regular basis. I've been there, you don't like it. And there's level 6 for Lucian. Gonna pop the culling and force the flash out of Nileman. That's great. We might get some pressure coming up to Key, however, as the Dragon Dance starts in earnest.
So there's no teleport for the Maokai. Teleport for Set, who... Is he actually... Oh, I was just wondering if he hadn't leveled up his ult for a second. I was a little bit worried. It's like, oh, wait, that's not available. Anyway, he does have ult, has teleport too, and it's also the Warwick who's starting up that Dragon first. They have priority from bot lane with, of course, their Ezreal being so strong at this point in the game now because of those 2 kills. So they'll be pretty uncontested.
And yeah, given away, Ashe and Braum forced to farm the wave at the moment. They're still a bit behind, both on kills and on farm. Ashe with the cull, wanting to get as much value down on the minions as possible.
Okay, so, and that's one of the things you do when you just decide, hey, look, I don't have much gold in pocket, cull is nice for lane.
Oh, that's huge.
Actually,
that is a proc of the Braum passive. Going in despite all the damage Ezreal can muster. That is a dead Swain, and here comes Ava as well. Popping the Braum stun a second time, NSK capitalize.
What was going so well for UPR turns around so quickly. Oh, how fortunes favor the winning bot laner, so it seems. Jungler goes down, picks up a kill, 2 kill participation for both the ADC and support of NSK, and they're feeling a little bit happier now in this game because they've evened up the gold for their team.
Yeah, Warwick coming in. Didn't have Netflix available, but went with the chill on the smite. Not much damage and not much action on Key. It's going to be a lot of NSK presence, but they don't get the dragon, or they went to UPR.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm using that sometimes. Okay, right. We have... looks like it will be the Muramana coming out eventually from the Lucian, going towards that Manamune. Of course, it will have to take quite some time before it transforms later. Whereas, Nilen is not actually... Well, Nilen... It's the one, sorry, I'm going to have to work through these pronunciations. Has not actually bought anything yet. He's got himself 1,200 gold in inventory, which means he doesn't have combat stats for this play. Yeah, could go either way. Here come the double ults, potentially. Malphite ult used first. Ava comes in with the counter gank. Looks for a return. Gets a 1-for-1 for now, and it's the 2 junglers battling, neither having ultimate. Swain looking for damage, but Lily is able to get out of there. 1-for-1, a great ganks. Yeah, so turns out Malphite doesn't need combat stats. He just needs that big ultimate button. Slams it home onto Key, who goes home to pick up that tier of the Goddess. And it is going to be the Warwick picking up the assist too. However, with the kill being recouped by Ava on the Lilia, still not feeling too bad are NSK about this. Yeah, it's not quite the full level of the pick we could have seen. Of course, Warwick's still to get ult, so think of the lockdown that could provide, and we're starting to get a glimpse of what UPR want to do in the late game, when you can add Set and Swain lockdown to what just happened. But we also saw on the other side of that, because yes, you're very, very right, that is kind of the snapshot of what we might see later into the game. But from both sides too, because if the Lilia there, or hit the slow onto 2 people, had the mark there, could have just immediately popped ult if they were level 6, and then suddenly you turn around that gank with that extra damage coming through, and the CC, which is just that point and click at that point. Yeah, and of course, if you can get it onto multiple targets, it's very effective, especially with champions who can follow up with damage. It's going to be a big push coming in for UPR in the bot lane. Ashe and Braum staying pretty far back as Ava comes in with a gank. Not quite getting that Dream Dust in place. Warwick coming in with the counter. Both junglers now level 6. Doesn't pull the trigger just yet as Drazer comes down, only to leaving the junglers in a 1v1 battle. They are just dancing around each other, Nymera. They are, and there's a lot of move speed onto the Warwick because he's got himself first item boots before the jungle item's completed. Oh, and there's the sleep hits coming in. Maokai looking for the pick, but that is an ult away. Wise move by Donga Quixote because he was in range of a Maokai W otherwise. Absolutely. I was almost wondering if Dreza should have Flash W there, try and follow him over. Doesn't choose to do that. I think that's probably the right decision. It would have been quite hard to follow, given that he would have popped his W and had so much move speed to use on that Warwick. See now that actually, with the Tabby built up onto Malphite, we're starting to see how this matchup will go slightly later into the game too, if Malphite does start stacking up that armor. He just pokes out Lucian with that Seismic Shard, and Lucian can't really do too much about it. Also doesn't have any lifesteal in this build to recoup any of that HP. In fact, ults the wave. Okay, cool.
Yeah, really nice move. Goes for wave clear when he can't get damage or sustain. And Ava, it's now his job to go ahead and take out that Malphite, who is now so resistant to any physical damage.
Yeah, given that there are 2 kills on the Lilia, will be building up towards the Liandry's and has the max HP damage on the passive too. Does have a decent kit to be able to do that. Question is whether this Malphite will build up something like an Abyssal Mask as well to kind of half-house the damage. Oh,
so
Ash
we'll look out for the itemization. Bramwell goes wide, but Ash ult lands. We've got Lilia landing the E. Does not have the sleep yet, but it's going to be some concussive blows falling in. Ranger's focus from Ash is strong. Swain deals reverse damage, and here comes the Guardian, saving Ash for now. Ezreal's the target, but the stacks can't come in quickly enough. Potato Spaghetti is running wild just as the gank comes in the top side. Big Bang pops the shield, and it goes through the Nature's Grasp.
Okay, when the dust settles, it's a 3-for-1 across the map in favor of the United Pourers of Runeterra, and there ain't no fluffing about this. They hit hard and they hit home. There was no exhaust put down onto the Swain, and level 6 is really, really huge amounts of damage. The Demon Flare comes off, and Haya just puts about 200, 400 damage across 3 people, and then Ezreal cleans up.
And yeah, on top of that as well, Nymera, the Demon Flare has its Demonic Ascension before it, and that comes with a health bonus. Combine that with the Mist Brow Molt, and NSK are left wondering what could have been in that engage.
I think one thing which is really problematic to me was that even though Lilia is relatively powerful, missed the W, the Watch Out Eep, one of the best names in the game, onto that target who was CC'd, maybe expecting some kind of movement backwards, but of course Swain had already flashed out already, so maybe if that damage had come through just a bit earlier, could have finished off that Swain. Micro misplay leads to quite a major advantage over to UPR.
Yep, you could paraphrase Neil Armstrong just there, one small step. We've got the second dragon on the map. It's the Mountain Drake, bonus armor and magic resist, which is something Nalman will be chomping at the bit about. NSK have the priority in the area, but Donga is coming down to there as well. Teleports from all 4 players with the summoner spell are available, so that's going to be the scene of our next battle.
Extra 6% resist is a worthy price to be gained by either team. Ashalt comes out.
Yeah, and there it is. Ezreal on the side reduces Sento to half health. Donga going in as well. The sleep lands, but the Malphite ult comes in hard. Teleports are following up. Can Dreza capitalize? It's going to be a kill onto Warwick here as the fight collapses into the river. Set moves in, and it's going to be the CC landing hard onto Key. He's the next one to fall. Dreza is the only one alive now from NSK in the area, and he's not going to be able to do any significant damage. UPR take everyone down.
The coin of UPR has flipped this game in the way that they do, and it has landed very, very succinctly onto heads. They get themselves a huge fight just after they got themselves a 3-for-1, get themselves a 4-for-none, not just 1-upping, but 2-upping in the actual net gain of kills, and they get themselves that Dragon 2. We said that it was useful for both teams. It would have been great for the Maokai. It's also similarly awesome for the Malphite. Malphite, who's dancing and recalling back to base, going to be buying himself quite a lot with this next back.
Yeah, the early flank teleport from the Malphite was really good there, as was in fact Potato Spaghetti's True Shot Barrage onto Sensor Nokami, just effectively dealing half of the Ash's health bar before the fight began in earnest.
Oh, exactly. And then we kind of talked about how we need to see NSK kite back around their AD carries because they have that strong front line and disengage potential from the likes of the Braum and the Maokai. Maokai did not do the same frontline job that the Malphite did in this fight in particular. Didn't have his ultimate on available to cast as well. And all of these things netted just a huge fight for UPR. That was a gank in the top lane.
Yeah, massive damage coming out from Big Bang, but we've got Ava coming in. There's the watch out, and Drezil in very low health. Big Bang flashes in, does get the kill. Can he turn it into 2? Ava is able to kite away this one, cuts the losses, and that's a magnificent damage from a 5-0 set.
Let me just write down my notes here. 5-0 set does lots of damage, and it is hard to kill. Right, okay, Big Bang goes out with a Big Bang, but doesn't even get snuffed out himself. Gives himself a 1v2 outplay on the stream. Of course, he can have that clip as and when he wants it. He's going to take himself a lot of turret damage in that top side too.
Yeah, we start to see the UPR builds resolve into what they want to do in the game as well. We've talked about the Malphite Ninja Tabby. It's going to be a Bami Cinder on top of that, working towards a Sunfire Cape. Donga Quixote going towards the Cinder Hulk. They're going to be two really tanky boys, whereas Big Bang is going to be dealing his name's worth of damage on 20 players. Malphite ults, interrupts the culling, and Key is left wondering what could have been Swing getting the kill. 10 unable to react to the Malphite and no other NSK members in attendance. The R button is real.
Yeah, the secondary effect of building up so much armor is the fact that, oh, Ezreal.
Oh, massive. There's the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Exhaust coming down as well. Will the damage be enough from Ezreal? A last auto attack from either side could have been enough. But Warwick jumps in and says, I am dog, my kill, CY at sign. It's going to be another fight in the top lane as well, as Big Bang is really making the top lane his lane kingdom.
There is the Bramble Vest, which denies some of the healing from Set, but it's just not enough at this point. He has Conqueror, he has Blade the Rune King, has Phage 2 to keep chasing down. Set is going to win this long lane every day of the week, and you see the amount of damage he's doing. Doesn't even matter if there's a full combo from Maokai, he can keep sustaining up too.
Yeah, you've got a lot of sustain, you've got a lot of healing coming out from the Maokai, you've got a lot of armor on there, but it is just delaying the inevitable at this point. It's going to be external factors that decide this, or indeed the Maokai doing more than the Set in team fights. Nice Q under the tower there, but Set has a lot more to call on still.
Swain just setting up a camp in the mid lane. Lucian not off to a good start. Well, it's not even a start in this game. Not had an easy ride this game. 0-3, doesn't have himself a Muramana, and Malphite very, very happy in this lane matchup right now.
Yeah, SK looking to pull the trigger, but Donga is on one side. Dream Dust applied, but the trigger is not pulled on the Lullaby. Tent on half health as Nowlan just throwing down the cheese wheels. NSK stuck with 3 members under their turret at this point. UPR really running free, and no objectives up at the moment, but they have so much agency right now.
Set waddling his way forwards and catches just the edge of the facebreaker there.
Oh, looking for the insect, but here comes Ava. This could be huge. Shield comes in. Dream Dust is there, but that is going to be a kill. This Lullaby comes in, but it's already going to be too late for Drazer. That's 1 for 1.
Get absolutely dunked. Just does so much damage with the second rank of the showstopper. Puts Maokai in the dirt, and it ain't for fertilizing, and now Lilia's getting attacked.
Yeah, it has the flash, but it's followed up by Warwick. Ava having to retreat under the turret. Pops the emote for good measure. That's my boy. That's what you want to do in that situation. But he did not have a chance against the damage and sustain of that Warwick.
Unfortunately, not for Lilia. Not build up towards that Leandries yet, even though there are 5 kills. Actually, as I say that, has done that just now. Oh, man.
Ooh, nice
really
flash coming out.
the Ashe.
Yeah, the ults seem to have landed 1 by 1 from Spaghetti onto a target. That's the worst rhyme I've come up with in a while. And the second turret's going to be focused in all lanes. The outer ring's broken. We're going to have a Rift Herald on the cards. We're going to have an Infernal Drake, the third Drake of the game for UPR, in about 30 seconds. NSK are almost in Miracle Play mode. Here's the ult key. He's not going to have too much to do. He's gone!
So you don't need to be AP Malphite to one-shot burst. You have the Sunfire Cape, a number of levels, and your base damages carry you through those kind of confrontations. Lucian, once again, being put down into the Death Chamber, and Malphite just gives no mundos.
Yeah, he's out there. He's got his Granite Shield. He's got tons of health. He's just got all sorts of mitigation for every bit of damage that isn't Ava, and Ava's trying to clear his own jungle. He doesn't want any rock guys coming in and trying to steal his camps.
Yes, we've got a live quote picked up from Malphite this game. He says, "Rock solid." He's very happy with this game.
Yeah, he's also seen in an embezzling betting ring because he said you will lose, and obviously if UPR go on to win, that means that he's predicted the future. Right. We've got Callie and Kui from the VL Bet team investigating him already.
Oh, good. Well, we like to investigate corruption here, and we like to think that we're arbitrators of justice and in no way immoral ourselves or biased at all. We wouldn't do that.
Well, all things are fair in love and war, but not apparently on the Summoner's Rift. It's threatened to be 3 Drakes to 0 for UPR, and it was a Dream Dust coming in, Lullaby coming in, and no follow-up. It's the steal attempt rather than the kill attempt here. Swing getting the W off, and Set just giving Key no agency in that mid lane. Ashe taking another Ezreal ult to the face. That's annoying.
Well, it just means that before every fight, Ashe is so permanently taken down from that 100% HP, and now you're in one-shot potential from the Malphite. You get that Sunfire burst, that Nova around you when you immobilize a target. Honestly, this is now dive under turret territory. Needs to back off from it, and Sensor, knowing that, does so.
Yeah, just look at the CDR on him. He's got the completed Triforce as well, so just aiming to land that Q, fire everything. We have some action in the top side as Ava forces Big Bang to back off, and Tent and Key, they're trying to do something to Malphite. I'm not sure if there's much point to it, but that's actually forced his ult, so fair play to the guys. The cuddling coming in at this point, because it's giving him a back massage. Flash coming in as well. Malphite may walk out. Key looking for that last dash, that last bit of damage that will help. And the camera's gone away, which means Malphite's escaped into the sunset.
So we see Ezreal diving forward towards Lilia this time, not the Ashe, but still.
Yeah, and there's the Swain lockup. Swain taking the kill as well. A needless Ezreal, almost BM at this point. So unerring.
Well, maybe if that last auto hadn't killed, would have been another for the Hall of Potato Spaghetti, who's having a really, really good game from this bot side of the map. Been given a bit of a free ride, had that early double kill. I'm going to go check those stacks now on the Manamune, and he's already at 640. This will be in the next minute, that Muramana coming through, and at that point, things go from bad to worse for NSK.
Okay, so trigger being pulled now, really tactical play coming in from UPR. They've popped the Herald as a counterweight mid, and they've now sent 4 players, that's everyone minus the Malphite, onto the Baron, which was started by Ezreal and Swain about 20 seconds ago. Drazer knows about this, he's coming closer, and looking for some sort of steal. NSK are in, the Ash Arrow misses Swain, but here comes the Maokai ult, locking UPR in a very small space. Can NSK do anything about it? They're coming in, but Malphite is here as well. UPR torn between finishing the Baron and engaging the fight. Swain on low health. It's maybe NSK's best chance here, and that's going to be a secured Baron. Tent is going to be hit down. Massive Malphite ult. Lucian taken down as well. Sento's getting some reverse damage in. He's not been caught out, and Potato is getting lower and lower. Drazer getting higher and higher, but Set's dealing consistent damage anyway. UPR clean up regardless.
Bit of a risky player on the Baron, given that the Swain hire starts on very low HP after 2-manning the Baron without having too many tank stats to try and sustain yourself through that takedown. Doesn't matter though, when the Malphite comes in with a huge ult, Ezreal cleans up. Of course, Set is involved too, and is a 4-for-2 at the end of that. Get themselves the Dragon. Was it a 4-for-2 or a 5-for-2? Either way, huge fight for UPR. They get themselves out with a hefty amount of Baron buffs, and the map is in their favor. Look, every single lane pushing into the base of NSK right now.
Yeah, they've got so much priority over all objectives. Of course, just picking up the Baron there, they've got 3 Drakes, the Infernal Soul potentially on the cards in 2 minutes. They're taking more and more control of the game. And yeah, they managed to get a really nice Malphite ult from Nowlnan. He's been pulling them out of the bag, and he got it on, I think, Aver and Key at the same time. Sento wasn't caught up, but at this point, the damage and the gold is just so far UPR's way that he couldn't make any sort of difference in the fight.
With the wallets. Sometimes that got... Okay, you know what? It doesn't matter. Moral victory has been won. Good job, Tent. You end up winning your team the game.
MVP right there. Big Bang wants the blue buff, but he also is looking to get stunned. And he's just going to walk out of there with the shield. I love the blue buff steal, though. My man.
So, Sir Dominus, it's about sending a message. It regains your mental. It doesn't regain your HP bars, though Lilia now at very low HP. If a fight were to be started right now, would really like to reset. They want to try and defend this turret, it looks like. But against the Baron buff, very difficult.
Yeah, it's so difficult at the moment. Drazer does have his teleport, but at this point, NSK sort of need to pull the trigger as 5 and go for an outstretched target, or they're going to suffer pretty hard. Oh, and there we go. There's the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. They're going for Swain, and they've got him, but the Malphite ult is big. That's going to be combined damage from Malphite and Ezreal taking down another target. Drazer is in the front line, and they're looking for Warwick, who is going to go down. So far, a 2-for-2, and that's going to be a nice Maokai ult as well, picking up a 3rd kill for NSK. It's going to be loads of stuns onto Potato Spaghetti. They're trying to give Ashe the kill, and that's risky, but finally it goes over to Sento. Big Bang in the back. Here comes the showstopper. It's huge. Can he do anything here? There's 1 looking for Drazer, looking for Sento as well. There's 2. Can he finally outduel the tree to win this climactic fight at 23 minutes? He's certainly running in. He's knuckling down, but he's content to just set up the Baron push.
He's knuckling down and knuckling out. He didn't end up being in position to bail his team out of that awkward fight where, of course, Swain greeds a little bit for the passive onto the rooted Ashe under tower, gets stunned in place, takes up a lot of tower shots, didn't manage to get his Zhonya's hourglass off, and the rest of his team kind of funneled in one by one to lose all their Baron buffs besides that of Sets.
Yeah, so a nice bit of reprieve for NSK. Of course, they're still 11k gold down, but it shows that they can capitalize on what looks like a mistaken teamfight engage from the UPR squad on the red side. Of course, now it's Soul Point. It's not in NSK's base. It's not a risky dive. It's a neutral objective. And with so much catch-out, so much stacked CC, it's going to be really difficult for NSK to do anything on this one.
I think at this point, well, that's a big ult coming in from Lily.
Yeah, it's going to be a 2-man Lullaby. Nice Q coming in as well. Ava's a really big target, and Malphite immediately targets the jungler on the Drake play, immediately going down. 10 being forced out of the fight as well. UPR now have the agency. They have the pushing mid-wave, and they have the dead enemy jungler. Looks like a great recipe for me.
They also they have themselves an Infernal Soul at this point. This is, of course, the Soul point. They managed to take that. Ashe was wave clearing in base. There were super minions coming in from that mid lane, and therefore they were had to fight in late 4v5. They get engaged onto, even though the Warwick ult misses in turn. The Malphite ult certainly doesn't. And yeah, now they have to stare down a huge amount of combat stats and gold to face them off at the end of this game.
And Ezreal just chased that Maokai like all the way through his own jungle, popping off the Infernal Soul every 3 seconds and just taking down about 40% of his health bar. Ezreal's probably the biggest defender, but just look at the amount of power that adds to the UPR team.
But important news update. So Sensei Nakami finally about to pop the cull. 3 stacks left. Okay, we got to fight.
Okay, that's it. We're going to have minions somewhere. Ashe is taking them in the mid lane. Can we get a countdown as this fight could engage? Still 3.
Come on, Ashe.
Looking for it. Oh, going for the minion wave again. Still 3. There's 1. He's done it. That's the win there. NSK taking game 1 in 25 minutes. Oh, that's not the game.
Oh, crap. Okay, it's the mini game. They take the mini game in 25 minutes and 30 seconds, and they're still left with a team of Infernal Soul in their base. How did this happen? Things looking still very bad.
Yeah, they don't need the next... Oh my god, a fantastic Malphite made even more fantastic by the Mad Life Flash. And Big Bang is going to be targeted by the Brown ult, but look at the damage coming out from UPR. Nice Lullaby coming in, and Senso has good damage, but Swain is going to obliterate with his Demon Flare. Nalman looking for the final kill. Drazer is resilient, but he's not invincible. UPR go 5 for 3 in the NSK base.
And they're going to go 1-0 in this series. As we're saying, they're just playing for pride, but they managed to do it in a relatively clean style. Can they keep it up for the whole series? We'll have to see, but game 1 consigned to the record books.
There we go. They're going to go for the Nexus. Will we see any BM? It's pretty
slow,
rare in VL. We're going to see sporadic autos. Lucian is coming up, but Warwick's going to pop the Primal Howl, going to walk away from the dash, and Nalman just going to close out in formality.
Oh, I timed the end of that so badly. Like, wow, they're going to take the Oh, they take the Nexus really slow. Anyway, that's the victory screen. That's what we like to see. Yeah,
taking the Nexus with the efficiency of Sensor and Okami's cold completion in that game right there.
Ouch, okay, no need to rub salt in the wound. You know what I will rub the salt in the wound of, though? Lucian was against a tank in lane for the entirety of that game and had, like, the 3rd lowest damage in that game. The only people that had lower damage than him was his support and the enemy jungler. So really, really having an awkward game was key on the Lucian. Went 0-7, did not find a comfortable way to fight or farm. And yeah, slowly slid to that first game lost at NSK.
And yeah, I don't know whether they saw the Malphite and thought it would be up in the top lane. I certainly did. Or they thought that they'd just be able to overpower with roams or just pushing the Malphite out of lane. The proof is in the pudding. We see the 1-0 and we see the Malphite take a really nice lead in CS, in contribution, certainly with those ults. And indeed with those KDAs that everyone cares about. So, yeah, well played to Nalman and indeed the UPR team in general.
Exactly. So, with that all said and done, game 1 is done. Dusted, we have the rest of the series to bring you, though. Going to cut ourselves to a quick break, get ourselves another cup of tea. Please stick around and stay with us for the rest of the night.
You shake my mind, you burn my heart, you stop time, baby, I'm staying here, and I'll be waiting for you. You shake my mind, you burn my heart, you stop the I wanna change your mind, bring you in close to me. I wanna change your mind, bring you in closer. I wanna change your mind, bring you in close to me. I wanna change your mind, bring you in closer. I wanna change your mind and bring you in close to me. I wanna change your mind and bring you in closer.
Hey, I still think about it every now and then. Wait, will I ever get out of this fog again? What if I never left this town? What if I followed you around? Would you still care? What if I never let you down? Let it unfold without a sound? Would we be fine? Will I ever learn to love again? Will I ever learn to love again?
Okay, so yeah, Callie, we'll just keep the bet live. NSK to reverse sweep into. Oh, so hi guys. Hi, yeah, welcome back to the NSK UPR series. It's Cradden with Nymera.
I suddenly need to leave the country. Yeah, gonna be breaking parole. See you guys around, and don't come find me.
Yeah, only Blaze is allowed to see him. He's got to operate under strict conditions to get paroled back into community. And yep, he's just broken his parole.
No,
So
I'm trying to form the modern day version of Limiz. You know, I'm breaking parole after stealing like bread, except this time it's more like stealing puns from Mega. But anyway, you know how it is. You know, I'm gonna break into song and dance soon.
there we go. You said exactly 20% of his summoner name, so you got away with it technically. So yeah, what did we see? We saw NSK getting. Is clapped the right word? It was fairly sound.
Look, okay, if you're going to ask me this on like an objective level, this was a win lane win game from UPR. They just had 3 lanes, which ran over their opponents one way or another. And then when it got to the team fights, the enemy, you see, that's the police in the background coming after me.
There we go.
But yeah, no, they just had such an advantage in terms of XP, gold, everything. To when it came to the team fights, there wasn't really much of a contest coming out of NSK.
Yeah, and looking at the lanes, you had Big Bang popping off with the high damage set. You had Nelman neutralizing Key's Lucian with Malphite with the Ninja Tabby. And then you had Potato Spaghetti turning what should really be fairly weak early Ezreal into someone who was just landing every Q and ulting Senso out of every possible skirmish.
Absolutely, and Ezreal reached his 2-item spike, and even before he reached his 2-item spike, the rest of the team was kind of running the map anyway. I do think the one really important thing to touch on was, of course, the set top lane Malphite mid, which I know you were saying, hey, maybe that's not what we'd expect. Yeah, that's probably a good point to make, right? Set is definitely more of a mid laner than a top laner nowadays, but does well into some tank matchups. And of course, with the Maokai there, building to the Blade, the Ruin King, started winning that 1v1, particularly after those early kills came in. We saw that 1v2 outplay too, and then he ended with such a ridiculous KDA. That's also worth mentioning as well. And then, of course, the Malphite didn't choose to go towards AP. Had a measure of restraint in that front, actually. Went towards the full tank, but it just worked out so well.
And yeah, it sort of lived up to what the comp was doing. You could have had Ezreal with 4 complete tanks, but you had enough side AP damage from Swain, and you had enough distraction from Set. I think Big Bang nearly 1v3'd, if not for a Drazer retreat at the end.
In fact, I think that happened around the top lane inhib. Technically, it was a 1v3, even though there was a lot of health bars gone already. Ended up killing one of them, or killing 2 of them, and then running out. Although that was after the rest of his team had died under that top lane inhibitor turret. So maybe we won't mention that for the good of the rest of the team.
Yeah, so given that we've not mentioned it live on official Valence League Twitch channel, we're going to see what could possibly happen in Game 2. Now, NSK, this version of the roster, or at least the one with me and Law gone, shout out to Law if he's still watching, haven't had much time. I think they've only maybe had 1 or 2 scrims since the break week, which was last week.
Okay.
So Drazer, Ava, and Key are fairly used to playing with each other. They're not used to playing with Tent in the support role, and indeed not with Senso. I think Senso is one of Drazer's friends who was brought into the team recently. So one of the problems they've got is a bit of initial synergy.
Okay, apparently we're going to have to reset up the lobby because I'm oh wait, did someone kick Hyatt? This is why you don't kick people from lobbies, people. You can't rejoin. Okay, right, so that's what we're going to have to do. Right.
Actually, that's kind of an advanced strat, if I'm honest. Yeah, my juggling won't work, so that's off stream.
I can go get a really annoying instrument.
Well, I don't know if you can top mine because.
Wait, no. Give me 1 second.
Oh, okay. Wait, I'm about to get blown out of the water here. I'm riveting with anticipation on this one.
It's out of battery. Okay, no, I can't stop it. Right, okay, back up to the regular show.
Yeah, ignore the instruments. We're going to set up a new lobby, and NSK's move of kicking up an opposing player from the lobby to win a 5v4, it's ruled out. The admins of...
It's back! I have got it!
Is that an automaton?
It is!
Hey, I love those! I haven't had one of those in years. It looks like it sounds like it's got about 2% battery.
It's the only instrument in the world which sounds ashamed of itself. Anyway, that's why I won't be playing that anymore. You had a brief sound of that, a sound of the abyss which awaits us all within automaton hell. And we are back into lobby, so hopefully we'll be getting that set up relatively soon.
Yeah, we'll have to set up a tricast with an automaton, a theremin, and an ocarina. It will be a symphony for the deaf.
Oh man, I literally cannot think of anything worse, and I'm totally here for it. Okay, looks like we are back into the Rift. Well, into the lobby. Rift comes after that. Anyway, right, UPR have taken up the blue side. That's important to know. And we do actually have higher end lobby this time. He's not been kicked. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, he must have paid a higher fee to get into this lobby. I'll leave. I'm not here all week. So yeah, we've got a side switch.
No, you're lucky that I appreciate this stuff.
I'm expecting it right back.
It's the key to success, I hear.
Oh my god. Yeah, we'll have to think of more for later. So
God.
Oh, No, you had one. I could tell. I know
No,
it
no,
in
no,
your
no, no. I
voice.
was just saying that I was actually going to do an aside. Literally, one of the things I've done for my bigger cast has been, let's just write down some puns so I've got something to throw to. I literally have like a good 10 post-its when I'm doing like really big casts, and just a good couple of just, this is a pun you can use, Alex. Yes, I have allowed you to use this one.
What if you've written them down in pencil and you need to sort of get one out of the post-it? Do you use the eraser? That's that. Oh my god.
That was so in. God damn it! That's one which I just don't immediately think of either. That's pretty good.
Okay, so that's what's going to happen in Champ Select from now on. But yeah, we're seeing fairly standard bans.
Yeah.
Hecarim, Rumble, Volibear, they all went. Rumble was Freeza's love child. We had Volibear, which is one of Ava's prominent picks. I don't think Morgana appeared last game in either pick or ban, so that's an interesting one.
I guess that's because... Wait, are they just trying to ban out Caitlyn Morgana? Or are they just saying, we want you to take Caitlyn, but we don't want you to have Morgana alongside it? That's all I can think of in terms of more meta stuff, right? Unless they're just thinking, we want to pick something like Leona Blitz. I don't know whether Tent wants to play something a bit different this game.
No, this is NSK we're talking about. We've got Caitlyn and Ashe. They don't ban either, and then they wait for the opponent to pick one, and then they pick the other one. That's what's going to happen. There we go. There's one.
There we go. All right. Wow, you are so good at this. You know what? I could probably just replace myself with that automaton.
There we go. So I don't bring any diamond knowledge. I don't bring any sort of meta or any tactics or any specialized item build knowledge like you brought in. But I can talk about two champions, which both have been picked right now. There we go.
Good stuff. It's like,
Ooh.
oh wow, Alex, tell us about your main champion. They're going to be playing this game. It's like, no, I play Ari. That pick is awful in most stages of the game. Anyway, right, you go talk about your champions now. What's so good about these two?
So yeah, Caitlyn and Ashe, they're the two big meta AD carries. You've got the big range and the big utility, basically. I like Karma though, because you would normally see Karma in either the mid or the support roles, but also in the top role as well. And Drazer plays a lot of Karma top. I don't know what sort of psychological disorder is present in Drazer's mind, but he just resolves himself to, pun not intended, to just go all the way into top lane and just fire off Karma top, doing no damage to anyone, healing himself up and making the enemy top laner as useless as he is for all of the laning phase. So we might be seeing that this game.
It might be. We're also going to be seeing the Swain again. So we do have huge CC support in, so we've got the route into the trap, into the pull, all of this stuff. Lots of CC kill combo coming out of the bot lane of UPR once more. There is going to be the Jhin Zhao let through. Jhin Zhao was banned in the first 3 bans by NSK in game 1, so that will be through. However, another thing which has been let through this game, of course, was that Orianna has been picked up by Key, so hopefully he'll have more of a comfortable time this game, because he really struggled to make himself impactful in that last game.
Yeah, Nymera, you mentioned Orianna is almost the standard mid lane that always gets through, and maybe that's what Key needs right now, just a mid laner that's functional, knows what they have to do, and can combine fairly well with the Ashe into a clear ult combo.
You also now have the double shield and double speed up from the Cannon. Not Cannon? Why am I saying Cannon? Karma and Orianna. Those are the two. Cannon doesn't have a shield. Yes. Okay, right. I need more caffeine. Right, okay, so Ashe very much set up to succeed this game, and I do think Sensei Nakami had a good game 1. The Ashe almost turned around a number of fights, was doing decent damage comparative to their state in the game. If you then have the ability to go for the Essence Reaver build, higher damage, and then get backed up by the huge amount of move speed coming through from that Karma, regardless of where that ends on up on the map, and the Orianna too, I'm liking what NSK can do, at least in terms of setting up their AD carry in this game.
Yeah, and they've also used their bans to take out basically the most of what UPR played last game. They've got the set out the way, they've got the Malphite on the way, they're just doing a hard reset on the enemy solo laners, so getting them to pick something maybe a bit more aggressive with a few more carries across the board. Hopefully champions in NSK's mind they can exploit with early damage.
Okay, so Olaf can outduel Jhin Zhao. Doesn't always work out that way. Jhin Zhao has a lot of early damage. Olaf really, really good with kit speed ups and stuff like that too. If this is the Karma top, you reach that point where you get the Ardent Sensor and the Athene's Unholy Grail, that massive two item spike of those 2 support items very early into the game. They're cheap items and you get that with solo lane farm. You buff up the Olaf and then you just go to town on the enemy team. And there's no one really so far that can tank up that damage. So Keller needs to be a little bit afraid of Ava this game.
I want to see the Taric right now, just That
Well, I would
Swain could
actually,
be support. Oh,
I would actually quite like Karma to go into bot lane and then them to pick up Maokai. I think that'd be really, really good. And then you have that dedicated engage option. You then have immediate CC to deal with the Castan if they pick it. Yeah, I think, honestly, the right pick now, Karma into the bot lane. It gives you a really, really strong level 1, level 2 bot lane. And then you just have that engaged top lane there. They're thinking about other supports, though. So
no,
you can make
that's
Olaf more
10.
of a
He's
factor.
trolling. He knows what to do.
Oh.
10's grown up in the Crudden school of champion picking, which is to pretend you're picking for another lane and then switch at the last moment. Oh no, he's actually going to pick support, isn't he? No, don't do it, 10. Don't put the Karma top, even though Drita wants to pick it. You're gonna have Oh, and there it is. There's the Nautilus. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I guess the worry was they think, oh, Wukong's pretty good into Maokai. Sometimes, like you can just get Conqueror down there. And we still have a CC option that can deal with the Castan. You put the Nautilus all on top of the Castan, and you can still be held accountable in team fights. You now have that solo lane Karma, gives you a lot of scaling in terms of setting up your Olaf too. Still would have quite liked to see that tank top lane and the Karma down at bot lane though.
Yeah, and also on UPR, they've got a lot of damage. They don't have the dedicated tank line that they had with a Malphite or a set building tank. Sure, they've got some mitigation with the Crescent Guard of Xin Shao. They've got the Demon for their health from Swain, but you haven't really got the true specialization. You've basically got 5 at least half damage dealers, and that's something that NSK will be sort of licking their lips at because they just struggled to get to the right targets at all in game 1.
I agree. Really, really agree. I think that at the 1 item mark before Castan is remotely relevant, this should be NSK's game to lose at that point. They need to make sure they do put down that Castan, make sure he doesn't have safe access towards farm, and then they can scale up with stuff like the Orianna themselves, right? Orianna is no slouch in that regard, and Olaf normally falls off in games, but when you have a comp like this, which does enable him pretty well, and he always has access to a squishier target to hit and regen off of that, I think David's going to be relatively happy this game.
Yeah, I really like to see the individual matchups there. And whereas Swain could catch out his opposing number in bot lane very well, in game 1, Tent had the Braum, which was nice if he could get a level 6 engage, nice if he could set up the Ashe, but now he has Nautilus, who from level 1 can go in and find targets. I'd really like to see King Tent calling the shots, as it were, to get opportunities on Caitlyn from the very start of the lane.
Funny if you say that against the Caitlyn, who is always calling the shots as Sheriff. If a hook lands onto Caitlyn, you have Ashe following up on that damage. Of course, having approach velocity as Ashe, really, really nice for chasing down people, and combined with the slows and everything, means that Caitlyn can struggle to run away from Ashe if the trade starts going badly. So that 2v2, definitely worth casting our eyes over, and of course, casting in general. While we do keep an eye on how the rest of the map turns out.
And of course, Kassadin in general.
Yeah.
They're getting worse.
They were never good. We do have Xin Zhao in this game, though. Xin Zhao is one of the best. I'm going to gank at level 2 and then continue to gank until the game is over kind of champions. You can very much like in game 1, we talk about, hey, if Lucian steps up too far, gets too overconfident, maybe he can get ganked by the Warwick. This is now much easier to gank from the jungle perspective. Of course, Captain doesn't have the same amount of setup, but I'm looking to see what Don Quixote can do across these lanes on the Xin Zhao, because he does have a lot of agency himself in this game.
Yeah, the 2 junglers are what my boy Impress, who is the senior coach for NSK, paroled by Bleed.
Mr. Parole Officer.
Yeah, the parole officer doing another sterling job there. Both junglers are what he would call red champions. I don't know whether he got the idea completely from LS or whether he made it up himself, but he's assigning colours to champions, and red is the in-your-face, what you just described, ganking from the start, getting as much power down, but also falling off halfway into the game. Yeah. And transferring power to those other champions. So
I know there was a big amount of conversation about the color pie earlier in the season. I think it does lead you through a lot of good thought processes, even if you don't completely agree with the definitions of each of the colors. I think the red one is most aligned with League of Legends champions, where, yeah, you need to be very aggressive from the start of the game because you have a time limit on you, right? Olaf on his own is a champion which does really well when people can't just strip through his HP bar, because he doesn't have that same amount of ratios in his kit, right? He's got a lot of base utility, but once it gets to the point where Castan is hugely fed and Caitlyn has 3 items, can just chunk him out for most of his HP, then Olaf struggles to perform his role he would do earlier in the game. So yeah, there is that time limit factor to him.
And yeah, there's an element of that with Xin. He's got the attack speed. He can build offensively and can track people down like Olaf. But yeah, he may fall off in relevance, only using the Crescent Guard rather than full tank items later on. I'd like the idea of Wukong and Xin Xiao going right into the back line, but they will be easier to take down. I've said this before than the Set and Malphite in Game 1. So it is a lot about kite back and sort of both teams feeling the other team out, knowing when to go in for the kill, looking for the kill on the AD carry, or maybe stepping back and letting the front line take a bit of heat.
So execution is the name of the game. Looking through the runes and masteries, Hail of Blades, nothing too unusual there for the Jinsao. Grasp on Karma shows that we are going to maybe get slightly more of a tanky build. I would like to see some tank items coming out first before you go towards something like an Iceborne Gauntlet if you really want to be that dick in the top lane who just makes it unplayable in the late stages of the game. We are onto the Rift. Of course, there's a cleanse on both AD carries. That's something we will definitely need to be tracking through this game.
Yeah, look at the CC and catch outs. The cleanse is really invaluable at this point, but of course it's replaced heal in both of the lanes, so a bit less sustain, particularly when you're running away from the type of support that can pop heals onto you, like your Taric or your Soraka. So there's an element of sustain, or maybe an early focus towards a bit of lifesteal, particularly with Ashe, who can go for the Blade of the Ruin King.
Can do indeed. And of course, you actually can't cleanse out of the Nautilus Hook and the ult, right? You can cleanse out the passive and, of course, the Ashe ult too. I am paused at 10 seconds. Don't forget to do that.
Likewise.
I'm paused at 11 seconds. I'm bad. Anyway, I'll just draw in a second later.
We take those.
Okay, I think I'm in time with you guys, and we are loading into the Rift.
And there we go. It's synced. So we're finally at the same time, and just in time for a Baron attempt by UPR. Never mind. So we're looking to see what the two teams do, and just like in Game 1, they are on opposite sides of the map, stacked as 5, looking for a bit of information or at best a kill.
So normally, you ask the question, when should I level 1? It's normally when you have a very strong CC support. Nautilus is one of those, has his passive, has his Q. And of course, Swain is one of those as well. The real difference maker would be here for me, the fact that Casten isn't a champion at level 1. He is a Q bot. He has like one source of damage, and then suddenly he does nothing.
Yeah, not really the Udyr or the Tryndamere that can just auto-attack relentlessly. And yeah, once you've got Braum and Blitzcrank out of the way, it's not really the ideal level 1. So both teams go into full defense.
Speaking of the Udyr, just a reminder that Samira, the new champion, with huge combos and an AoE spinning wind wall, is in the same game as Udyr. Just think through that for a second. Just cast your mind over to that.
Yeah, shout out to certainly T for those balance designs, by the way. Is Samira certainly T champ, or is that just
certainly? I don't believe is on the champion design team anymore. I don't believe he's been on it for quite some time. I think his last one might have been Aphelios. I believe that was his last one.
Oh wow! So we'll leave the audience to make their own conclusions on that one as we see level 1 start.
I'm not one to flame with that reason. I think that there have been so many balance issues about certainly T champions, and there is an issue with the fact that they are they're very unfun to play against, even if they're very fun to play. But I do admire the creativity. The fact that they are discussing all of these ideas means eventually you're going to come up with something. The question is how they make it through the design phase when you're discussing stuff like Aphelios is going to have 25 guns. Legit. That was a thing.
Oh my god, I can just imagine someone bring that up in a meeting and questions being raised. But yeah, I really like a lot of the base ideas, and Thresh for me is the winner from certainly T's. He's really brought a lot of variety to support. There's a lot of supports that bring things that he does, but stuff like the Lantern, the follow-up hook, the Bunny Fufu maneuver, it's something you can really get behind, even if some of his other champions have a reputation. A lot of damage coming out from Orianna. You want to pressure that Cassidy.
It is.
Here comes the gank, though. Donga moving in. You're going to save the E for a bit later. Looking for the gap close in a second. 3 Talon Strike with a knock-up. Flash follows, and Key is going to survive for now, although having burned both summoners.
Close run thing. Maybe one more turret shot could have turned it in favor of Key. Not the Ignite. The red buff not enough to take down the Orianna, though. But we're talking about, loads of damage coming out of Orianna. But that's what happens when you get overconfident. You can get ganked. And now Cassidy has himself a free early lane.
Yeah, he'll be watching the flash timer of Orianna with great interest. As the engage comes in from bot side, Senso looking for damage onto Haya will switch onto Potato Spaghetti. The undertow comes through and the flash is forced. Ava dodging the never move from Swain, so nice assist.
And Olaf showing his head down in the bot lane, lots of chunks out there, and Caitlyn is a champion who really should be doing well in lane, and if isn't doing well in lane, there's a problem, right? Because you want to be pushing down turrets, get those plates, and making sure you roll around the map, doing the same thing to other lanes. Now having yourself chunked out, losing both your flashes while you're against all the summoners of the enemy bot lane, that is not going to plan.
And yeah, it's really good now that we've pointed out the contrast. Let's see the damage in bot lane. Not much. Northless has the Relic Shield, or whatever his W is called that isn't that. We have flashes burned for the bot lane of UPR, but also Key, the mid laner of NSK. So it sets up a really nice symmetrical position for the junglers, where they'll be wanting to gank the lane that doesn't have the flash, but also counter gank responding to the lane that does.
And this is where lane control comes in so important. The thing is, saying there was a lot of damage coming out of Orianna. The thing is, when you're in these kind of matchups, you can kind of get baited into doing too much trading, because you're trading with the Orianna Q through the wave, and you're damaging the minions, and then the wave ends up being pushed towards the enemy turret. The trick is to freeze the wave on your side lane. You can see there, it looks like it's going to slow push towards the Cassidy. He can collect that at his turret, and that might be an opportunity for Jin's out to gank once more.
Yeah, keep picking up a bit of farm, but only 2 ahead at this point with the wave in a fairly neutral position right now. Both Donga and Ava around mid and bot side. The first Drake is up as well, and as these sorts of junglers, you do want to be pressuring for that early clear.
You do, and I mean, the Olaf is hugely fast at clearing through jungle. One of the fastest in the game. Xin Zhao does not match that kind of clear speed. As we can see, Kassin is heading towards, well, at least getting that, and there's the Xin Zhao.
An excellent gank positioning from Donga. Has the gap close, has the knock up, no flash for Key, and Kassadin gets the first blood. That's huge.
I'm not going to say I told you so, but I kind of told you so. That's kind of what happens. You get baited into taking too many good trades. It's like playing a ranged top laner, right? You push into your tank, you're wailing on them for the first 5 minutes, and then you die. And then things are awful. Kassadin has the first blood, gonna back for maybe a catalyst, maybe a tier. Has his pick of the lytics. He does have that 1400 gold in inventory. And now Key had that early damage, but what's it amounted to? A death and nothing more.
Yeah, there's not even the presence on the dragon. Ava had some good clear and some presence around bot side, but didn't have the mid laner to take pressure. Couldn't go for the dragon at this point, and now the laners are starting to reset, so things aren't looking great initially for the NSK lineup.
No, not wonderful. I will say that at least top lane is surviving right now. It's not maybe as bad as that Karma lane could be, but yeah, we'll just have to see how things shake out as things come in.
Yeah, Ava's actually going for the solo clear at the moment. I don't think he walked over the control ward, but he is on very low health. It's dangerous for getting poked, but brilliant for the attack speed that Olaf's able to put out. And there it is, an Infernal Drake going over. So, nice bit of redemption.
Oh, that's a root.
So that's Undertow, and that's an Ignite, not even needed. Xin Zhao not needed as well. That's a great kill. And Tent's going to fall. No dragon to take, but you take the gold.
We're going to talk about that cleanse, or we're not going to talk about that cleanse? That's the kind of time you think you had heal, and you completely forget you've taken a different summoner spell. It's a death in the bot lane. Caitlyn gets kill participation, and the kill goes over to the Swain. We saw how much damage you can do on that champion in the right kind of situations. They get themselves turret plates too, where we were saying before, blowing both your flashes, that's kind of awkward. Things turning back in their favor. Yeah,
and story time, by the way, I've recently gone onto the NSK Academy team, playing in Div 3. Call it sandbagging, call it trash player. And playing against TKDS's top, I was on Darius and saw a blue icon at the bottom of the screen. Having played a lot of jungle, I assumed it was Chilling Smite. It wasn't, it was Ghost, and I didn't catch up with the guy under the tower. That's the sort of thing I think Senso just did.
Okay, at least in that case, it does the same. The very worst one is when it's teleport. You teleport to a freaking minion beside that champion. I have done that when I've... So the thing, that's not in top lane.
Yeah, nice Cyclone, forces the flash, and yeah, it's a lot of presence there for Big Bang. Olaf goes to the mid side, but now Kassadin has his Rift Walk, so all bets are off.
Has his Rift Walk, has himself a Catalyst too, the extra HP, so much damage. But with that Renewal coming out, it's not the Alt W at least, it's not getting the heal on that Karma Tether, but still, top lane actually momentarily going in favor of Wukong. Get traded heavy on here, though.
All the potential Soul Flare. It's going to be a nice Spirit Bond. Ava's coming from the side and not even needed. Big ol' solo kill for the NSK top laner.
That being said, fighting the bot lane in the middle.
I can't even commentate on that one, but it's going to be an attempted follow-up. Cleanse goes in as Potato Spaghetti is forced down upon. Caston going in the mid lane. There's action everywhere in this game. We've got Donga Quixote going around the backside of bot lane, but NSK content with that arrow play under tower.
Looks like Caitlyn was trying to bait them in. Oh, Jinzhao's here with the hook out.
Yeah, great move there by Nautilus. Ash looking for follow-up Caitlyn damage, but both sides retreating for now.
Just about. We have ourselves a 1,000 gold lead to UPR through lane, through first blood, and through a various number of other factors. Oof.
There's the shockwave coming in. Kassadin has to escape from Olaf, who's running down. Undertow is going to be huge, but there's the flash coming in. Ava wants to make it work. He wants to keep chasing. Got some terrain to walk around, but that missed axe is going to be everything for that chase.
It's kind of awkward. That kind of screams a bit of the, I want to make this play, but I haven't completely thought it through. And that kind of comes hand in hand with the tilt. Knows that the Kassadin still has the flash, just has to rift walk out, survives through to his next cooldown. Olaf now without that flash himself, and Kassadin still very, very happy in this mid lane.
Yeah, Wukong taking a lot of punishment in the top lane, but getting his CS, which is great against a ranged top laner like Karma. Looking to go back and get what looks like a Blade of the Ruin King, or at least a Cutlass to start with.
He could be going towards that blade. Of course, Wukong's pretty good at using that with his auto attack reset. Karma is going towards the tankier build. Got that Glacial Shroud first. Signals the Iceborne Gauntlet coming in first, which is, oh, so fun to play against as a melee top laner. Could just be that, oh man, that's a bad fight in the jungle though, because Jinzhao's have to run away from Olaf.
Yeah, Crescent God coming in, and Drazer is there, but so is Wukong, so potential 2v2. It's one thing to say that NSK have been sort of misplaying the positions in mid lane and getting top lane a bit behind as a ranged top laner, but I have to give credit to Ava. He's seen the opportunities to take objectives and so far picked himself up the first Infernal Drake and also the Rift Herald.
Has done. However, Olaf, we talk about being a farming jungler, behind in farm 2 against Don Quixote, who has also set up his lanes for success. Of course, Olaf did come down for that momentary gank in the bot side. I'm looking for a little bit more out of this champion. At least he does have that mid-game spike alongside the Orianna and Karma supporting him to look forward to. He's going to have to make pretty good use of it, though.
Yeah, Key and Nelman going to keep trading a lot of mobility now in this mid lane for the Kassadin. Donga around the bot side as Ava just leaves base. He's going to have a second tier jungle item and going to be building towards that warrior enchantment. A lot of damage for Drazer, forcing Big Bang out of there in the top lane. Teleport not available, so could be a plate on offer.
And I was going to mention that in loading screen, but it turns out there's a lot of things we can talk about in the game of League of Legends. It's fantastic. It's Airy and it's Ignite for the Orianna. Oh, we're going to talk about jungle again.
It's a 1v1 in the jungle, challenging Smite going down. Here comes the Kassadin. Olaf's going all in on this play. Takes down Donga, who did not have his flash available, as bot lane goes in as well. King Tent looking for the stuns. Potato Spaghetti dealing a lot of damage. ADC's on low health as Tent claims a kill on the ADC. Gonna fall to the Demon Flare demonic ascension damage as Kassadin gets out of range of the Olaf.
Just about, and that's what happens when Olaf has himself in the golden zone where he's below half HP, but has his W and his ult running. He gets a lot of HP back, manages to keep that attack speed very high too. Jinzhao does not manage to match the damage, and then of course Kassadin does not have the same amount of DPS either to finish that champion off. Eva managing to claw his way back into this game and gets himself a shut. Well, it's not quite a shutdown onto the Jinzhao, but at least he gets him off the map.
Now, here's the fun one. He's going to try and snowball with tempo. He's looking for the Ocean Drake, but he is on top of a ward, and everyone who was helping him in that play is going to have recalled. Ava, wisely realizing that, is going to back off and look for his team to support, but this may be UPR's turn for a Drake.
Maybe it is that Ocean Dragon, of course. We'll be waiting to see what flavor of Rift we've got for you in Game 2 today. Reminder that, of course, if UPR were to win, they'd close out this series 2-0. We've talked about them being a very inconsistent team. For them to get a 2-0, even though they're out of contention for playoffs, would do well for their pride. However, you need to not take any bad fights against this team, which might have a lot of tools to deal with them into the late game. With Olaf getting a little bit scary at this point, try and close things out.
Yeah, Dragon Dance is huge as Karma, who now has the Iceborne Gauntlet and reaches maximum levels of fun that you alluded to, is going to take so many chunks out of the Wukong.
Yeah, we'll do. It does look like it's going to be the Blade the Ruin King coming in from Wukong, as we say that. He's not going towards something like the Black Cleaver or the Triforce first or anything like a Tiamat. He's going straight towards that attack speed on hit build, kinda. With that lots of bursts coming out. It's a good combo.
We played a trio game. Cleanse goes in the bot side, but followed up by the Nautilus ult. Tent has 3 members wailing on him. Has to flash out, but he is going to survive. And now Drazer and Ava coming in for the side. For NSK, SK comes in from the side as well. All 5 members involved in this play. Swain is going to go down. A nice kill onto Caitlyn as well. Kassadin unable to do anything just yet. The Shockwave comes in, catches Chinchou, and that's going to be a 3-0 trade. In fact, it's 3-1 because Ava went down in that melee.
Do a big play, you know, said, hey, maybe it's UPR's turn for a dragon. Nah, it's not. No teleport committed from Big Bang. He's going to stick around in topside, maybe get himself some plating for it, but it is at the cost of that bot lane play. Karma comes in, gives the speed up, sounds the retreat for UPR. Play goes their way.
Yeah, it's going to be fire, water, and what are we going to have as the flavor of the rift?
Looks like it's going to be a mountain one if I caught that correctly. The mountains rise. The tower plating will fall very shortly, but not before the third top lane plate does go down to Big Bang. So at least some cash back into the pocket of the Monkey King.
Yeah,
Monkey General, that's the one.
Monkey General. That's almost as many military ranks as Kled there. So yeah, we've got a 12 CS lead, down in 2 kills, down a bounty, but it is going to be equalized gold thanks to that plate. And to be honest,
I'm okay being down bounties. That's the worst celebration chocolate.
I love it. And
sorry, I just don't like coconut chocolates. It's just not my thing.
I mean,
somewhere else.
With Milky Ways and galaxies, you might expect there to be a Big Bang chocolate in there as well.
Hey, well, maybe there was at the start of it, not around now. Waited about 4 billion years for that. Might have to wait for a number of years before we get another one. Shinzo back into the jungle. Let's talk about things which aren't astrophysics, which make me remember my awful university names.
We're gonna have to look on this one, back on this one, and cringe with delight. Yeah, it's excellent.
It's like, oh god, I hated physics so much, and yet I did it for like 4 years in Sheffield. What a time that was. Okay, on to better things like Rift Heralds and the top side of the map. Talk,
yeah.
talk.
So with a basic physics joke set up, we're gonna have Newton's third coming up top, as UPR were up there, and NSK now potentially getting caught out. We're going to have Chinchou trapping Ash in the pit. NSK coming round to relieve their ADC, but they're only going to find a corpse as Tent and Ava try to make the best of a bad situation. It's getting worse as well. Wukong and Caitlyn have arrived. Drazer running away rapidly as all 4 members of UPR were there to begin with. And there's going to be more members joining with the Wukong clone. A lot of damage coming through. Drazer just surviving, and Key finishing off a kill there. Chaos for both teams.
Chaos, but it is, I was about to say Herald for one team. Herald wasn't even taken. It was a 2 for 2. However, Caitlyn gets some free time on this turret. Orianna is a way to clear away some of these minions, unless this route lands. Does miss.
A lot of damage coming through. Kassadin choosing to Rift walk away. Orianna now in a bit of a precarious position, but Karma is there for the shielding. Ava now there on the side. NSK reinforcing their mid tower and just getting some presence back on the map.
Yeah, so it's 16 minutes in. Herald's still not taken. That is still available. Of course, that was maybe what was the purpose of that fight. Wasn't started. Not really sure why they were fighting. That's okay. They're having fun with it. And they're getting some gold in their pockets. Ash now been assigned mid lane duty. That is the lane allocation. But Orianna heading towards the mid lane too means that NSK probably sticking around for Herald once more.
Yeah, they've got everyone going there. Drazer maybe trying to relieve top. Let's take a quick look up there. See that the tower's crumbling, but it's not yet gone. It's going to be a nice focus for in a few minutes. But right now, everyone's focused on the Herald, and NSK have 4 members there. UPR are coming around. They are united at the name suggests. Apart from Donga, who has to pop his Crescent Guard quickly. NSK still in furor over this Rift Herald, and they are going to clear it out. They're getting the power up onto Ava. And that could have been worse if they'd waited another 10 seconds.
Absolutely could have been. There was a shockwave available to punish anyone who might overcommit through one of those narrow corridors leading up to the Herald. The way it is going to be taken by NSK, what will they lose for it? Will they lose anything across the board? No one's in the bot lane. No, it was pushed in, I believe, by Wukong before that play started, but it's not like he's been hitting the tower. There are no plates. And it is now the Herald being summoned in mid lane and a hook onto the wall. Good job, King 10.
I'm interested by this one because the Herald could have been used as a counterweight for the Drake, but they see Caitlyn up top, they see a tower in mid, they're just going to get the free gold.
I really love that term. Yeah, because counterweight really does explain it, right? In terms of what purpose are you using it for. You're trying to use it to even out the map where it gives you the ability to start the dragon.
Ooh, and we're going to see Kassadin take an undertow as well as the shockwave, and Ava looking for the kill does get it. The Rift Walk is not going to work against an ulted Olaf who just walks out of there. That's one way to get a Kassadin down.
Awkward from Neil, and then does not get out. Burns the flash. Caitlyn has had some alone time in top lane. Going to see what the gold difference is between the two AD carries. There is a sizable lead now for this Caitlyn, 2-2 and 2 as opposed to the 1-1 and 4 that has a CS lead. And of course has that solo gold to use too. Karma though in trouble.
SpaghettiOs. It's not Spaghetti, but it is going to be the top laner and jungler wiping out Drazer with a nice flanking gank.
So Jin Zhao keeping himself relevant in this game, making sure that the split map goes in the favor of UPR. They've taken down 2 turrets as opposed to the 1. That 1 turret for the side of NSK is importantly that mid lane outer turret, though. It means that you don't have that same structure to head back to and wave clear in that mid lane, whereas the long lanes have been taken for UPR, which means that this Jin Zhao, the caster and the Wukong, can start playing around with Karma and try and take that person off the board.
That's a massive QW amount of damage from Kyu as his Echo. And again, we're going to have Swain very, very low, just as Dragon becomes an objective to focus on for both teams. Teleport comes in from Karma as well, as NSK really looking to make their mid-game power show. Kassadin is away, but with Teleport. NSK looking to get some sort of presence, but Caitlyn's away in the mid lane. Ashe looking for a 1v1, not going to make it stick. NSK need to commit to a fight, or they are going to get flanked. Xin Zhao going in onto Orianna, dealing a lot of damage, popping the Crescent Guard, and that is going to be a solo kill, unless there's an interference in the nick of time for NSK, who take the Drake, force a flash in the mid lane, lose a tower, but protect the rest of their structures.
It's a bit unfortunate from UPR that maybe if Potato Spaghetti, close on the hook, maybe if they could link up with the same amount of damage onto the same target, they could have finished one of those two off. They do split their damage, however, and they lose Jin Zhao. Key getting away with that play. Sat at 1-1 and 5, only died at that one time to the Jin Zhao, of course, but gets some revenge there.
Yeah, it did look very dire initially as Donga was just wailing on Key, and it didn't look like he could get away, but really well-used flash, and in the end, NSK able to outmaneuver their opponents. 3 Drakes is nothing to scoff at, even with the 2k gold deficit, because Soul Point allows you to put so much pressure onto the map and just make your enemy team move in ways that they wouldn't normally be pressured to move in.
I mean, at least UPR get themselves a mid lane out of turret. That is important. Karma is in the long lane again. Remember what happened the last time that happened? And maybe that's why Olaf has been moving up there himself to try and shield that solo laner. Casting going to pick up the wave. Doesn't look like he's spoiling for a fight just yet.
Yeah, Olaf and Xin doing really well so far. They've got the warrior enchantments, and it looks like Donga is now transitioning into a tankier build. Derek's Gauge coming up. We'll see what that is followed by. Drazer just trying to get some trades with Kassadin.
Oh, wow, Karma has a red buff and an Iceborne Gauntlet. That is so fun.
We call that peak annoying as just the smaller...
You get the regen as well from it. You can't even take trades and try and back... Oh, that is just disgusting. Ow, that's a huge amount of damage.
Yeah, we saw Potato Spaghetti landing Ezreal ults repeatedly onto Senso. I think he's trying to do the same with QWs onto Haya this game.
I actually wonder at what point does he just one-shot that support. He's 3 levels up, that Shockwave does a lot of damage. You'd have to be timely on your Zhonya's Hourglass usage from Haya. And it's not something he's particularly been doing this series so far. He had a couple of awkward moments. Of course, that death under the top lane inhibitor almost turned the game against his team's favor in that last one. But he's been doing relatively well so far to win his lane in this game too.
So let's look at where the gold diff is right now. Let's not. It's going to be Xin Zhao going straight onto Ashe. Cleanse used, and the damage is real, but Xin is going to try and go all in for the kill. He stopped in his tracks. Olaf was there. And, of course, we're going to have Nautilus in the area as well, going for Swain. And this could be NSK's turnaround if they get both targets here. Zhonya's goes through, but he's going to respawn in a field of red, and he's going to be a field of dead 2 seconds later.
Swain goes down, puts into the dirt, and that will signal the Baron after 2 quick kills in isolated fashion go the way of NSK. I don't know if there's a contest to be had. Wukong's in the bot lane, does have the teleport. He's not committing it. It's the Baron over to NSK.
Yeah, all sorts of lane pressure from UPR. They're going to abandon the Baron. NSK are going to be in a bit of a pickle after the Baron finishes. They're going to have to battle with going back to the lanes, shutting down all 3 pushes. But let's be honest, the Baron is uncontested. That's the big win here.
It's a huge win. I really want to praise the lanes of NSK for really stepping up this game. We said that, hey, last game, kind of was UPR, the winning lane, then winning the game. This time it's the Karma being very, very impactful on the sidelines, continually pushing in. The Orianna doing so much damage to the Swain. And the Olaf running around with that kind of advantage has been very effective this game. We also see, as we were saying in the Champions League, we'd like to see the Essence Reaver come out of Ashe. that is the case, there's a lot of damage coming out of Sensei Nakami, very much in a position to carry this game.
On the flip side, we were talking about the sort of setup of the comps pre-game. We said that NSK, it's their game to lose in the mid-game, but look at the scaling they've got from Kassadin. Look at the potential damage that can come out of all 5 members of the UPR team. There's still a lot to play for yet, even if Soul Point is on the table, even if the gold lead has been leveled.
Has been. Jinsao cancelled in his... Ooh.
Yep, and Nautilus is going to take a lot of pressure. The undertow is going to be there, but that's going to be a dead Nautilus. NSK retreating out of the area.
That's kind of unfortunate for NSK. They had themselves the Baron. They should be pushing in their lanes. They were trying to secure vision, of course, for the Mountain Soul that's spawning in 40 seconds, and they lose a member in isolated fashion, and that's the same words I use with the kills which led up to UPR losing that Baron. Karma's now caught up in bot lane. This could be the second one in a row. It's back-to-back. It's a mirror.
Yep, going for the flash there, and isolated fashion seems to be a phrase that we can apply to the last few plays from NSK. They've lost another member, and whereas Nautilus was going to be back for the Mountain Drake, the respawn time of Karma is going to raise some questions about whether NSK can fight.
I praise Drazza so much, and that he's very disrespectful in the bot lane, trying to get maybe that outer turret in the bot lane with the Sheen procs. Now they have to try and steal this dragon out from under the nose of UPR. They are committing to it.
Yeah, the big damage comes through. That's a nice flash and a steal attempt, but that's a lot of damage coming through. UPR going deep. They're taking down 2 members already, but here comes Sento in the backline, dealing a lot of damage. Kassadin's Riftwalk is interrupted by the flash there. Sento just has to keep firing off damage, but his days are numbered. The Q comes out, and that is a clean sweep coming out from UPR.
Close run stuff, though. Kassadin failed his flash over the wall. Very, very nearly let that high damage Ashe cut through him. It would have taken just 1 or 2 autos more. Either way, the dragon is not stolen. It's picked up for UPR. It puts the timer a little bit further away from oblivion of that Mountain Soul. For NSK. Kassadin picks him up a huge amount of gold from that fight. He's completed that Archangel staff, which will be going towards the Seraph's Embrace. So with the scaling from that champion, already ran over that fight. It's only going to get worse from here on out.
Yeah, Archangel's increased gold lead of Caitlyn over the Ashe. A Mountain Drake with a hold on the NSK Soul 4-0. All of these signs, they're not game enders, but they are portents, omens of doom for NSK. They have to look back later on, if indeed they lose, and see these as the turning points. They're still going to hold out hope, and they still have a lot of mid-game scaling.
And now let us turn to the book of Kassadin 16. Lo and behold, the late game did come, and we've got an Ashe hour to talk about.
Yeah, Nautilus going to try and follow up. There's the ultimate. Higher is going to be the target. Zonya's not quite available, and also the CC really well stacked. Big Bang going to come straight into this one. Going to turn with the ult. Tent's pretty low. Ava's really low. They're both going to go down. Drazza taken down in quick succession as well. The shockwave is huge. Lands on 3 targets. Spaghetti quickly taken down as well. Sento is under fire. And Key is going to take down so many targets. So much chaos in that fight.
Bodies just litter the mid lane, 4 for 4. They've left 1 person alive in each team, alive to tell the tale. It's Key and it's Big Bang. Second huge shockwave in 2 fights in a row. Key having a much better game than his first one, and he's keeping his team in it. Because actually at the start of that, Wukong and Jinzhou had a really gnarly engage. The Crescent Guard soaked up so much damage, as did the clone after the teleport from Big Bang. Made things very, very dicey for a second for NSK.
Yeah, and that's sort of the way these fights are going to go, because both teams have several damage sources that are really great the more the enemy team are stacked up, the AoE effects, if you will. So both teams are going to want to stack up to do damage.
Oh, yes, the area of effects.
And therefore, area, the effects on the effective area.
Oh, nice, cool. Oh, that sounds like my physics lectures again.
It's like Inception on Lilia all over again. But yeah, so much damage for both teams in a short area. It's going to be chaos, and that's the level of fight that we're going to expect, with both AD carries left to pick up the pieces if indeed they survive.
Certainly. We do have 2 items completed on the Wukong. It was completed for the last fight. Just want to recap it just now. I wonder how that's going to affect side lane players if they do want to maybe go towards the Karma once again. But Karma has really cheap items. That's why she's got 3 Iceborne Gauntlet. That's like very cheap. You've also got the whatchamacallit, the Ardent Sensor and the Athene's Unholy Grail combo, both of which are very cheap items. So Karma at this point is just doing a lot of work for her team with the efficiency of those items, particularly for the Olaf, who's picked up that Black Cleaver going towards the Death Stance. He's still going to be relevant towards the later stages of this game.
Yeah, the shields are going to be amazing, and that's what they're going to do on the side of NSK, to give Olaf and Nautilus a bit more survivability in fights. And yeah, the support Karma makes a lot of sense given the AP that's already coming through from Key and massive shockwave damage.
And also the fact that Olaf isn't really a champion unless he has someone buffing up into the late game, because he just gets shredded through too quickly. Karma can do that, Orianna can do that to an extent too. Once again, Haya just being a nuisance, stopping some of those recalls. Potato Spaghetti in the mid lane may be a choice to engage there, because there was only the 2 of them stood by each other, and the Swain has been picked off a number of times before.
Yeah, we did it when Law was on the team. They're going to do it when Senzo is on the team. Just look for any sort of snipe abilities they can. And Caitlyn has been victim a few times this game, from under the tower at level 6 to all the way into the mid game. Now, the second attempt at Mountain Soul by NSK. Let's have a look. The Book of Kassadin 15 is on the table, but it's the next chapter, as you said, Nymera, that really excites people.
It's one heck of a page turner. Shinsei not going to be able to clear out that water. Oh, no, he does. Okay, he does get it. The difference in the story this time, what's written on the page, is a giant bloody Infinity Edge for Ashe, and she's already been doing a hilarious amount of damage, as has Key, who does chunk out Donga Kote already.
Oh, this is huge. The shockwave goes in. They were looking to cover him either way with the Ashe Arrow. The Crescent Guard comes in. He's tanking a lot of damage, but it is inevitable. The enemy jungler goes down. That's a bit of a disaster for UPR just before Assault, Decisive Drake, and NSK are going to commit hard for this one. UPR forced into a steal for the Soul as 10 backs people off, and that's going to be a confirmed Mountain Soul. Out to combat shields are big. Big Bang looking for the engage. Nylin on the backside as well. They're looking to get to Ashe, but she's just continually firing damage off. Kassadin round the side this time, as they can't get onto those NSK members altogether. Finally onto the Orianna, looking for the Ashe. Zhonya's Hourglass, is it the pretext to war? The Flash is not going to be effective. And finally the Kassadin goes down. Caitlyn, the only remaining big damage member coming through. 10 going to isolate Swain. Is this another 4-4? Rangers focus in. Sento no Kami is going to be dealing the damage. And it's 4 kills for NSK.
Oh, look how close that fight was. If you don't have the Jin Zhao trying to get vision and dying because of it before that fight, probably goes the way of UPR, and you'd be sailing home to a 2-0 victory. As it stands, though, the Dragon and the Mountain Soul has gone over to Natural Summoned Killers, and now they take control of this game.
Yeah, that's really big. You did feel, and I certainly did, as a definitely unbiased neutral caster, that losing that Mountain Drake about 5 minutes ago was the death knell for NSK, but they've recovered. They've got back on the horse, and yeah, they've managed to get themselves shields, which, as you said, boost the Olaf and the Nautilus in fights, give them a bit more reliability, allow them to carry off their buffs a bit more with Karma going on them, the Athenes going on them, and just a lot of damage behind them.
Absolutely. We do have the Book of Kassadin. It's a real page turner. We'll see if there's a happy ending for him in this game. There is a bit of doom and gloom. We do have a lot of extra item completions, which you should probably check in on. 3 items for Caitlyn. That's nice. Gone for the high AD build, not double zeal. It's going to be the Storm Razor alongside the Infinity Edge and the Rapid Fire Cam. Other side, we already touched on the Infinity Edge, but now there's an Executioner's Calling, which might definitely, that's completely nonsensical. Anyway, Ashe Arrow has been fired.
Yep, Snipe's going in the mid lane, and we're going to have a follow-up Nautilus hook, but it is onto a clone. Nice job.
Ah, yes, your clone is very impressive. You must be very proud.
Ah, yes. It is very hookable indeed, but it's just going to walk off. It's going to deal all the damage of the clone's health in a short.
Oh my god, you just got shot by an arrow the size of like 3 people put together. Are you okay? It's a clone. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We'll just walk it off.
Imagine that in real life. Just carry around like a life-size.
That sounds horrifying.
I'm imagining it in the sort of cartoonish Roadrunner.
That's beyond just a ballista bolt. That's like an armament of serious warfare at that point. That's getting hit by a bloody ballistic missile. Alright, okay, back to the
Just walking down the high street and then a giant ice arrow flies out of the way. Hi,
Where did
Sarah,
that
if
come
you
from?
want
Ah,
me,
it
by
came
the
from
way.
the other side of the map. Which map? Which map? Is it the Ordnance Survey map? The world map? Where's he coming from here?
Yeah, you can look at the Ordnance Survey map and just see the arrow moving across in real time.
Oh, good dodge out of Spaghetti.
Yep, and it's a counter engage coming in. The ultimate is popped, the depth charge is in, and here comes Ash dealing damage. Teleport comes in from Nalman. Castin looking to deal big damage initially as Nautilus already falls. Ava is there, and the shockwave goes in on 2 targets. Swain is going to put down a zone of control, and Quixote is going to operate within it. Cassidin getting out as well, 2 for 0 so far.
This time NSK don't shut down the carries. It is a straight up 5-on-5, and even with the large value coming out of the shields with the extra resists from the Mountain Dragons, it's just not enough. This time it is that Cassidin popping off and Caitlyn putting out the lion's share of the damage. Now it looks like Baron is briefly on the menu for UPR, but they peel off it.
Yeah, it might have been the biggest psych ever because I think Spaghetti went for the ward that was directly behind the Baron, just duking out both casters at the time, but they have gone for it now. Psychs are plenty on this blue side. As Don Quixote on pretty low health. There's only 3 members of NSK here, but that is a risky Baron with a low health jungler. The Mountain Soul empowers NSK as they move forward. The Soul Flare is there. They're looking to get UPR off the Baron and maybe steal it for themselves, teleport it in from a UPR, and here comes the steal. Ariana's going to get it with the QW Shockwave combo. Some part of it did it, but that some part is going to send UPR packing.
Bring out your fucking missing pings. It's 1 for Key, and he has not been off note this game. Comes in with a huge steal, and the game goes on.
I love the self-censorship button, by the way. That's fantastic.
I know, right? It's what's keeping me on parole. We have the red buff being taken by Caitlyn. We have ourselves almost guaranteed more fights, because in a minute we got it again. We got the Elder Dragon. The show goes on.
Yeah, the stakes keep raising, and Key just stealing that Baron was fantastic. I really liked how brave UPR were being. They did something like that in Game 1 with a risky Baron play. They stuck to it in Game 2, and if not for that QW, that would have been a really nice feather in the cap for the blue side as they tried to...
Maybe if Big Bang doesn't go onto the Baron, it was already low HP, maybe if he teleports and then just tries to either trade his life or just try and force off the carries of NSK, that fight goes differently. That Baron steal doesn't happen. Now they have to sit, ruining that decision, and the hook comes in onto the clone.
Oh, fantastic use of the clone there. I was hoping the ults got burnt there in a sort of sadistic fashion, but yeah, nice self-control coming in from NSK as they're looking to get some presence around the pit, which in 20 seconds will be filled by the elderest of dragons.
You sure you want to reset now? You sure you want to... I can only see that as a mistake.
Yeah, what have we got that on? That was the jungler as well. That was Donga.
Yeah, the dragon's still spawning in 10 seconds. There's actually a number of recalls being channeled. Capstan has a flying position, but he's seen on vision. This is bad. Yeah,
he's spotted, and that's going to be a big chase. Drazer going down and force out a couple of Riftwalks. NSK still together while UPR are split on different flanks. Here comes the Elder attempts. Ash raining down big damage as Tent is looking to provide deterrence. Elder already at half health. UPR don't really have too much idea of it at the moment. The jungler is far away, and NSK paused for a moment. They're looking for the fight. They take down the Wukong. Nautilus survives for now. That's massive damage. Shockwave not landing on as many targets as they would like. Health gets lower and lower. Ash with the consistent damage, forcing the flashes. That's 2 kills. They turn to the Elder Dragon in earnest if the steal comes through. This is the moment for it. It's NSK's Elder Dragon, and they're turning away as a group to try and take down the remaining UPR forces.
Traps are coming through, but I can't see how Caitlyn comes out of this alive. They have too many speed ups. The slow doesn't tag, and actually they're going to let them get away with it. Let us forget, free to recall, but will he be able to defend this base alongside Cassidin against 5 members, which still survive from NSK?
Yeah, Mountain Soul is there. You've also got the Ocean Drake, which is nice regeneration as far as sieges are concerned. But the Elder Dragon is the big one. It means they can just instantly engage and look for the execute on any target. Spaghetti better be pretty worried right now because a Nautilus hook is almost instantly fatal. NSK...
Right, can they clear the wave? Can they do anything about that? You've got Caitlyn Q's and you have the Cassidin E. That's been used. It looks like they're sticking around. They don't have another wave right now.
Yeah, nice defense from UPR. The wave clear was important, and NSK backing off. They're looking to go to a side wave.
Jesus Christ, we have the game still going. I thought that was going to be the ending push. I think they should have dove with that. They had a flash onto Olaf and just go speed him up, try and die with the Elder Dragon. No, this is... been an interesting game 2. Of course, if this were to be NSK's victory, would have a deciding game 3. Let's see if it comes to that.
Yeah, and NSK in the driving seat right now. They've got the Ashero down, missing all of UPR.
Goes across the global map.
Dodges in the way. And we've got an inner turret taken down, 5 turrets to 4, getting that lead there, along with a 2k gold lead. But it is the end they're looking for. They've got Elder Dragon, they've got Mountain Soul. These are game-ending objectives right here, and they're looking to push something decisive out of this top inhibitor turret.
They are. So this has turned into a one-lane style of play. Group up with all your massive shields. Try and push down, brute force those structures when you have all your buffs. The Elder Dragon has fallen off now. Can UPR find themselves a fight they couldn't do? Actually, no, it hasn't fallen off, I'm a liar. But can they find themselves a fight then the next big calling? But they couldn't do it, the Elder Dragon.
Yeah, Elder is going to be used in all of its effectiveness there. NSK are going to back off, get the reset, get the items, and I think Baron in 130 is the next staging point if we don't see some weird Buki split push from
Ooh, whoa, this is split backs. This might be a bit of an opportunity. I think Casting could chase him down if they went for it. Ash and Karma were in base, but they don't pull the trigger. They don't see where everyone else is. They're not bold enough to go for that play.
Yeah, Wukong definitely not getting a chance on the Nautilus there. Tent retreating to a safe distance. Ava going to do the same as Donga and Haya. Trying to get something in the river. Looking onto a trap, forces the flash and the ult out of Olaf.
Okay, so Flash now down for Olaf. That's very important. If that means that he can't flash in for a final auto E onto Caitlyn to kill her in a team fight when it comes around that next big Baron, as you were saying, that could be very important. I think that ultimate will be back up in time. It is a relatively short cooldown, being level 17. See what happens with the Death Ball next, though, as all 5 members of NSK have joined themselves in the bot lane.
Yeah, check the super minions in mid and top Nymera. NSK have a lot of pressure in the other lanes. They're looking for the one remaining lane with structures intact. And they have a lot of ways of catching people out, but the big one is going to be that Nautilus, assuming it doesn't hit.
That's caught.
Yeah, that's going to be a Crescent God there. But there's the Asher onto Caitlyn. That's huge. AD carry instantly evaporates. NSK having a real chance now. Massively boosted in this fight. Kassadin walking away with the power of the Rift. And NSK advance, emboldened by their kill of the enemy Caitlyn.
And Potato does not manage to cleanse out the Ashe ult. Gets hit by the things he can't cleanse. That's the Nautilus hook and the ult. And he dies very, very quickly. And that will be the death knell, as we've said earlier in the game. But now it is for UPR as the turrets fall down.
Yeah, massive damage coming in onto the turrets higher. Getting the Demonic Ascension going. NSK looking for quick kills. They're sort of kiting back with minion pressure. As we've got a Wukong engage. Sento is dealing loads of damage, but can he get taken down? Doesn't look like it. He's going to get 2 kills, get the shields through, and that is NSK sweeping their way to an equalizer and a setup for a deciding game 3.
It's a messy late game affair. 40 minutes and 26 seconds is the timer, I believe, as the Nexus goes down. We have ourselves, as you were saying, that game 3 to take all the marbles. Of course, it is just Pride, as we were saying. Given the amount of big team fights we've had, there's a lot of chance to have those montage moments too.
And yeah, we'll have certainly more of those. Before we cut to a break, if there's anything that defined that game for NSK, how did they do it? Was it sticking to their comp? Was it capitalizing on mistakes? Or was it just pulling the trigger at the right time?
The thing for me is that they recognized their comp's identity and they enabled Sensor Nakami, who had a good game 1. This time he had an excellent game 2. That Ashe was consistently putting out damage. Huge amount of DPS from that AD carry, only topped by the Orianna. We saw what happened there. Really good game from the AD carry and mid laner of NSK. Let's see if they can do that again in game 3.
Okay, with that in mind, we're going to cut to a short break. We'll be back for the decider. Don't touch those browsers.
Waking up with the sun at my side, peeking in through the blinds. Didn't say you were coming over, but I'm down for the ride. I'm hopping in your four-wheel drive under sea blue skies. I'm feeling this vibe, wish I keep it going. Heading out of town and we got no doubts. Just put the top down, we can keep it open. If I could go anywhere, I would stay right here. I would stay as you lay your head down on the sun-kissed skin. Maybe we could make it last forever. Freeze the time, take it in. I'm hopping in your four-wheel drive on the sea blue skies. I'm feeling this vibe, we should keep it going. Heading out of town and we got no doubts. Just put the top down, we can keep it open. If I could go anywhere, I would say right here. I would say right here by your side. If you could go anywhere, I know you'd say right here. 'Cause we're living in paradise. In paradise, oh, in paradise. You know I would say right here in paradise.
When did I lose you? When did we fall through? How come you don't care anymore? When did I get lost in your afterthoughts? Oh, how can you see right through me? I've given you everything. Won't you just take me as I am? just won't respond. I'm too far away to get in your lane, 'cause you won't let me hold on. When did I get lost in your afterthoughts? Whoa. How can you see right through me? I've given you everything. Won't you just take me?
Okay, so basically, any Game 3's in chat is what I'm saying. I'm Cradden, and I'm with Nymera for this Game 3.
You are. We've managed to get a lot of mileage out of this series, and this series has got a lot of mileage out of us as casters. There will be no dallying. This time we're straight into the picks and bands. There's a bang on one of these teams, I guess. And we do have, looks like Poro is taking up the blue side.
Yeah, there we go. We're seeing a lot of the standard bans coming through. Say standard in that we've seen them twice already this series. If all goes to script, we're going to be seeing a Volibear shortly coming through from UPR and going for the Lilia instead. So, yeah, the jungler from the losing NSK game, which is very interesting.
I wonder if you either have to ban Caitlyn or Ashe here. I don't. Kami was so good in both those games, actually. Even in the losing game, the Ashe was a worry. Now, they've recognized that too. It's been taken away. Does this force the Caitlyn ban? Are they going to play Ezreal into it? They're going to allow the Caitlyn to be picked first if they want it.
Yeah, going through, and the Morg taken out of the way as well. So it really goes with hindsight to tell me that they're going to try something similar with a lot of run-in red champions. The Olaf was particularly effective for Ava last game. So yeah, taking Morg off the table means that you can get a lot more easy access to champions. The Caitlyn did go through, so I suspect it will be the Ezreal or some other off-meta champion in the ADC role.
Ooh, it's going to be the Senna instead. Right, what do you want to pair up with that? Do you want to go for something like a Tahm Kench, a Nautilus? Do you want to play a weird Senna support, Bruiser bot lane? Gives you different options. It's, yeah, a bit new from the side of NSK, but they do lock in what they picked in Game 2 in the Karma.
And yeah, the Karma, we mentioned it in Game 2, it could be a flex up to the top lane because Drazer plays it quite effectively. Key's also known to play it in the mid lane as well, has a fair few solo queue games on it as well.
Also takes it away from Caitlyn Karma as a lane, which is just straight up bullcrap. It's just, playing against that, you don't get to play, you don't get to have a health bar really. Set going to be locked in again. This was played in Game 1 in their winning team composition for UPR, and Big Bang played that in the top lane versus Maokai. Really wrecked face on that champion.
Yeah, so looking at what's available at the moment, the winning lineup for UPR in Game 1 also had the Warwick, and crucially also had the Malphite, but the Malphite was the counter to Key's Lucian. So they're going to stick with a lot of really oppressive engaged champions. They've got the Xin Xiao in the jungle for UPR, so don't go looking to repeat his Game 2 performance. And yeah, just a lot of really nice bruiser tank engage tools.
The Karma Olaf looks like it's pretty likely to come through, particularly because the enemy jungle has been locked in already. You don't really want... Okay, it's not going to be that. It's the Volibear instead. This is a flex. It's good in the jungle. It matches some of the ganking prowess that Xin Zhao can have, because you can just run in with that Q, movement speed into that point-and-click auto-attack stun. Let's see what these junglers can do with these picks. Of course, the flex is still available, though.
Yeah, so with Karma and Volibear both in Drazer's pool as well, what we know from this is that he's going to be playing two champions this game at the same time.
Oh, right, so one with his feet. It's like have you ever seen No Game, No Life?
Oh, I never have. Go on, tell me more.
Nah, it's a show about, it's an anime about gamers, you know. It's just like, it's reaching peak levels of, oh my word, I don't want to be seen in public doing you know what it is. Anyway, yeah, so it's the old videos of playing Yumi with your feet. This time going to be a bit more complex because a bear is not the same as a cat. And immediately got the lobby falling through. Yay!
Yeah, Ava's known to see Yumi and then just immediately head in the opposite direction. So, yeah, we're going to need to do something interesting with this one. We'll get back into that champ select to the same point it was lost at. So I think we had 3 picks for UPR, 2 for NSK.
It's okay. Looks like there was a bug on one of the players. I think it was Ava that had that bug. He ended up dipping out. And so we will have to remake the lobby. I believe the draft should be continued up to the point it fell through at. I can't remember exactly what it was, so hope someone's keeping track of that.
Yeah, let's hope so as well. Otherwise, we're going to see completely new
We had the
drafts.
first round put in. I think we're going into second round bans.
Yeah, we definitely had the Senna on the side of the NSK team. I don't know
It was-
whether the Olaf was locked in.
No, it's the Volibear that was locked in.
Volibear that was locked in. So Senna Volibear
Yeah.
for NSK.
I
We
just can't
had
remember if
the
any
Zin
bans
and
came through
Set
for that.
for. I want to say we were still on pick 3 in phase 1.
Maybe. Okay. Well, we'll wait to see what happened and when the bug occurred. Because obviously, if it was something like it didn't allow them to select the correct champion and therefore they locked in something wrong or it couldn't get locked in, that would be the point where you do resume it from, where you have that pick left open to you once again. Waiting for players to get back into lobby and once again getting the mileage out of us. We gotta earn our keep here.
Yeah, the irrevocable march towards midnight continues.
Yeah.
Some closer than others, depending on how far through
Oh,
continental
God,
Europe
'cause-
people are watching this one.
Well, I woke up. I immediately was a guest on the VCS English broadcast to do all this stuff. That was a 5-game series, and then I had a nap. I got up, had a shower, and I came and did this. I have had a very League of Legends filled day in front of a microphone. So you're getting me at the tail end of this, guys. You getting the dregs of old Namera.
I'm giga surprised that you still have a voice at this point, man.
Same. Yeah, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna have to go over to broken voice ASMR at some point. Welcome to the Valence League. Oh.
That's the automaton simulator coming through
Right.
there. Your voice will finally have the same tone.
Oh, I can only dream, man. I can only dream. My brother has a harmonica somewhere. Maybe I could steal that. I have a kazoo at home. I know you brought that one. Oh, man. So many things. We could do a musical number.
Yeah, we can definitely do musical numbers, which seems to be the only entertainment at the moment because we're still waiting for Ava, the NSK jungler, to get back in.
This goes long enough. I do have a guitar in the room. And I do know Wonderwall. This can happen.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Wonderwall. Oh, we're seeing that Ava is in queue, so maybe hoping for a bit of solo queue to brush up his skills.
Ranked is down to... Oh my god, it's not going to be server issues, is it?
Oh, we love that.
Come on.
Now, technically, I'm still in the NSK org, and the rules state that if you can't field the team, which is quite possible with Ava disconnecting, right. I can maybe jump in as an emergency sub, losing 3 bans.
See, the problem is, I can't do that. I'm too high rank. Okay, well, what are we gonna? Do you want to play Hangman with chat? Is that next thing we got on the board? What else you got for me?
One thing I normally do at this point, and it always fails, but it's fun to watch, is I say,
right.
"Okay, guys, let's count to 5," and just type 1 and see what happens afterwards.
Sure. Okay. Right. Let's. Right. 1. No wait. I immediately typed 2.
Wait, are you typing that in League chat?
I said I was going to type 1, and I fat-fingered and put 2. I've immediately failed. That's what's happened.
Now I can't see either the 1 or the 2 in lobby chat.
Oh, in lobby chat. I can see that.
There we go.
Alright, okay. I put it in
Of course, we have our own Twitch chat.
No, I put it in Twitch chat. That's what I did.
That's much better. We have an audience of 42 people, presumably doing nothing with our lives and dwindling massively.
You could be doing something productive, trying to earn, I don't know, trying to be build synergy with the other chat members. I know Twitch chat is this faceless organism, but right, I'm waiting for someone to type. Okay, well, this is what we've devolved to.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is for Twitch chat, I want you to list your top 3 VL League of Legends teams in a certain category, but not tell us what that category is. So, for example, teams that you think are inting. So I might say NSK, NSKA, and Deja Vu, but I wouldn't say what that category is. So I'm going to need everyone to do that. The top, actually, in fact, you can go for pro teams as well. Your top 3 League of Legends teams in a category, and don't tell us what that category is. The other one that you can do, which is not League of Legends related, is you can ask everyone to type 2 truths and 1 lie about themselves. And we've got to try and guess which it is.
I'm trying to think if I've got anything interesting about myself. I was gonna look through all the teams and do one of those 3 things, my top 3. But I was gonna be wholesome about it, so I'm not sure if that really fits what you wanted out of it.
So Blaze is coming with TSB, the Slowbros, Team Augulus, and 7DS. So I'm trying to think what we can combine about them. So TSB has Curly on it. Org has Lev on it. 7DS has I think that's the junior team, so it'll have Ice and Chime on it.
Wait. Everyone's back in lobby. I think we've done it.
We've done it. Our sideshows have made it possible. I'm
Oh.
trying to work out what the
best sideshow since Bob.
There we go. It's Bob 2, Electric Boogaloo. Bob being another VL team really locks that in for us.
Okay, all right. Let's just see. Oh yeah, true. Cast them a number of times. Good old Bob. All right, we're back in. Wait, okay. I am. So I don't know if everyone else. I don't know if everyone else has got this. But are you seeing multiple champions locked in already?
3 for UPR, 1 for NSK.
Oh, for. Where's my sensor? Oh, for sake, Riot.
There it is. So we're going to be seeing. At least that gives us a nice guide as to what's actually going to get picked.
But we're currently playing in a 3v1. This is a little unorthodox.
It seems pretty standard for Big Bang, judging by game 1.
Yeah, and by the way, chat, yes, I do have a bleep button.
Oh, Engel's also coming with Cloud9, Evil Geniuses, and Team Solo Mid.
I guess that would be favorite NA teams, or I don't know, best NA teams to have at Worlds, but yeah. Oof. Big oof. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna miss Cloud9 at Worlds, but still, they did end up falling apart a little bit towards the end. Okay, let's see what happens when these people start offering champions. I've got no idea. Okay, Caitlyn, locked in. As far as we know. Senna, locked in. As far as we know.
Yeah, assuming that we don't get giga psyched by the champions changing on our screen right now. Yeah, we're going to be seeing... There it is. So that's the draft up to the point we left it before Ava went to go to his native Spain and go participate in the running of the bulls.
Okay, Volibear is locked in. We're into the second round of bans. Okay, Aston and banned. So some of the late game scaling from the mid lane taken away from Terra. They in turn take away Key's comfort champion of the Orianna.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult to read it, what NSK are doing because of the flex picks we've pointed out. We've definitely got Senna in the bot lane. We're going to be seeing Karma and Volibear between mid, support, top, jungle. All of the other positions are covered, so it's really hard to ban out. I really want to see what Haya picks, because out of, I think I'm right in saying out of all of the 10 players, he's the only player to have played the same champion twice, so he's going to have to make the brave move onto another champion this game. And playing against just the aggression that could come out of a Volibear, I really want to see what he comes up with. Does he go lane bully with the Caitlyn? Does he try and sort of go tanky and fend off the Volibear? There's a lot of options.
Trying to look through exactly what he's got in his pool. Could go towards something like the Nautilus. It does allow them to have a bit more of an engage option. Pretty good at CC chaining alongside the Caitlyn too, and it's a good takeaway from the Senna. The question is, are they going to... Okay, so it's Volibear top Graves jungle as far as we know. Although Graves can be played in a solo lane, if you're really feeling it, but I don't think so.
Yeah, the classic Season 2 AD carry, there we go. Yeah, we've got, yeah, a lot of damage coming through of both types there.
Volibear is actually pretty mixed damage too. It's quite nice. Yone being hovered would be pretty interesting to see. Very aggressive on the initiation front. They're not going to go for that though. Instead, they have the Galio, which can dive in alongside Set after showstopping on the Jinzhou after audaciously charging forward.
Yeah, really like the Galio keys. I can tell this about Key because I was on his team for a long time, having moved to Academy. He thinks that Galio is pretty effective. He hates playing Galio. Whenever like his coach or his team owner says, maybe Galio is a good pick here, he's like, no, I'm going to leave the team.
So before the Galio mini rework where they changed his passive and about his flash taunt and stuff like that, he was actually really fun to play because you could have this double slam combo, because it used to be when you used to hit an enemy with an ability, it would cut your cooldown of your passive by 4 seconds. So if you flashed in with a CC, smashed, and then cancelled your other 2 abilities on top of each other, you could immediately get a smash afterwards. And it was just the most badass combo. But they removed that, made him very boring, and yeah, I kind of get what he's talking about.
Yeah, the Windsor War coming in, and that's one of Key's specialties, actually, the Echo in the mid lane. Yep. So a lot of disruption, the assassin power in mid lane, and we'll see how that works into Galio, what with being a fairly close-range champion at times against the taunt.
So you can give push over to the Galio, and you know what we've been saying the entire series about, hey, if you overpush, maybe you die. If you end up getting pushed up as the Galio, you get your Justice Punch interrupted by the 2 low range with dash champions Graves and Echo into a parallel convergence, smokescreen as well. That's a pretty easy sitting kill in the mid lane. So I'm looking at Nilnan to really control his wave like we've been asking the entirety of the series. However, in the team fights, Galio has a good ability to deny Echo a lot of the more clean team fights, but just CCing him in place with that taunt.
Yeah, there's a lot of close range on NSK to get the taunt in on, because Graves, if you can get caught in the right place between dashes, is a fairly close range champion. Senna, initially at least, has to be close range for the auto attacks. That'll get longer as the scaling happens.
Yep.
And then Volibear, of course, he's one of the most in-your-face champions you can get. So Galio's a really nice pick against the majority of this NSK lineup. And I think combining that with Set and the Facebreaker, there's a lot that comp can do against the melee burst.
Yeah, exactly. Sat really good at shuffling someone out of the fight or into the fight if he gets that flank too, and that can turn things around. We've seen this champion so much this season. I don't need to dive too deep onto that. Of course, Nami, not so much that we've seen in terms of the higher levels of play, in terms of around the world. Of course, is still a very popular solo queue pick. Gives the support a lot of agency, makes them feel cool when they're hitting skill shots, and is that typical e-girl icon in that bot lane. Caitlyn Nami, really, really strong in lane. You power up your Caitlyn, you get those slows with the extra damage on the auto attack from your E. And of course, if you use your tidal wave very well in this game, you can start denying Graves, Echo, and Volibear their close range brawling playstyles, which will hopefully benefit their team in these team fights.
Yeah, it's one of the hard appeals to land the Aqua Prison because it can be dodged, it can be dashed away from, but a really effective Nami player can turn the tide, as the pun goes, with the extra damage onto the Caitlyn, the healing, and of course the Aqua Prison on multiple targets if they run in. So with Galio with a bit more reliability, Nami, if higher, can pop off and get the right plays at the right time, can really enable Potato Spaghetti Caitlyn to do so much damage in a fight. And if we go by the previous two games, how the series has gone so far, there's been a lot of scrappy fights, as Impress says about the senior team. NSK, if they win it, it's scrappy fight, but we sort of pulled through it, and that's certainly been on display tonight. And yeah, we want to see those clutch plays, making the montage reels, as you said, Nymera, in the middle of the game, and just helping the carries get ahead.
But that's one of the, it's one of the big draws to try and play in this kind of tournament, right? Because there is that allure of, hey, you want to get streamed? You want to have viewers watch you play? Does bring the risk of completely flubbing something and being remembered for that. But having the occasional clipped moment, which you can go back to and say, hey, I did that. It doesn't matter what rank you are, you have that cool moment. It's on videotape. We have one game left to decide the series between these two, and hopefully we'll have another couple of those clips that these players can be proud of.
And yeah, for anyone who hasn't looked at the Division 1 table recently, there's no relegation possible with Fullpine Esports, the public limited company, going pretty public with the fact they limited themselves from Division 1 in relegation. So neither of the teams can drop out. NSK could have jumped over UPR with a 2-0 win, but with that being off the table, NSK are locked in 6th. UPR can maybe leap over Vengeance if Vengeance lose to Deja Vu, but we're talking about 4th and 5th spots at the moment. No playoffs, no relegation, but a lot of bragging rights and a lot of montage-worthy moments at stake.
Sure. And of course, you get to hear our lovely voices for the last game too, for all you people in chat. Hope that's not a negative. Okay, got ourselves past that spectator delay. Quickly moving on to another topic. Don't mention that again.
Oh, there's a guy calling out that these casters are really great and awesome. I really love that support.
It's called Nimaera? Nimaera?
Yeah, like...
Nimeria? Isn't
really
that the dog from Game of Thrones?
Oh my god. Yeah, really reputable guy.
Wow.
Is that what it's from, or is it sort of a Hydra reference?
Absolutely not. Please do not mention. By the way, are you in the loading screen? By the way,
I am not. So it's stuck on 0 on the champion select.
Oh, it's stuck on 0 on champion select.
It says waiting for spectator delay, and we've received word that our production's in the same position. So
this is where I get to say, for sake. Yeah.
I need one of those things, right? Now's your chance to plug where you got it from, or is it like an handheld device?
I have a Stream Deck and I have it linked into that. So in fact, wait. I have another. I do have another gimmick I could pull out at some point. Where is it? Where is my other gimmick? There's the gimmick. Right, we'll use that if the break goes too long.
Yeah, we've chosen the gimmick appropriately. So yeah, let's look at what champions that have already been played in this series. So we've definitely seen the Karma before for NSK. Volibear's been banned, but a lot of new faces on that side. Whereas for UPR, we've seen the Caitlyn, we've seen the Jin Shao, we've seen the Set. It's the Galio and Swain moving to Nami for hire that we haven't seen before. So a couple of new champions to make the change on. I don't think either team are really changing the style of things. They're still looking to sort of go for chaotic fights, scale up where possible, and a kill on the AD carry is almost certainly a win.
I mean, we're still gonna get like a lot of brawly team fights. We see another backline AD carry coming out of Potato Spaghetti, and we do have would I say the same style? I guess the junglers are still going to be performing the roles of either ganking in terms of Don Quixote, and then also Grace farming up on the other side of the rift. Mid laners probably looking to get more out of lane than they were in the previous games. That's one thing I will call out there. So hopefully get to see how these players adapt to this new draft, and see how that works out. Okay, back to Hangman. Let's see what happens. Oh god. Actually, I think so. I can't even quit the spectator right now. Okay, so is anyone actually in? Do you know if anyone's actually in game? If any of the players are in chat or anything like that, are you guys actually in game?
Let's find out. I've got my boy Key in chat, so let's type to him. You can hear the loud clicking keyboard from here.
Also, it turns out my gimmick is out of battery. It's not even the attack. I'm just really bad at batteries, apparently.
Okay, apparently Key is 4 minutes into game.
Oh, okay. Well, can we?
So I'm not sure what our best solution is here, but I'm going to try and restart League of Legends.
So if you can ask them to pause the game, we'll restart our clients, then we can see if we can jump into spectator mode. Oh wait, no, spectator mode's broken. Oh. Oh, this is so scuffed. Yeah, this is so scuffed. Oh,
this is excellent. So we've gone to all the trouble of bringing you a climactic series that has got all of the mileage out of the casters, got to the third game, been put on the stream only because of reschedules, and now Riot decides to leave us in the dark in game 3.
Okay, all right. Unless things are loading, I mean, I'm trying to see if things are loading in when I get into client and see if anything loads up there. It does say I'm in game right now. I can tell you I'm not in game. I don't know if anything's loading.
I've taken the other strategy and I've chosen to just keep things as they are, and I'm still on the lobby. I'm still on champion select. The time is on 0.
My client is absolutely hating me right now. Yeah, okay. See where this goes.
So, as I'm Cursed is alluding to in the chat, we got promoted due to WSLR going boom. We stayed in Div 1 due to Paradox going boom. We're going to stay in Div 1 again due to VLP going boom. And we're hopefully going to get a default win due to the League of Legends client going boom. So all hail NSK.
My client is very, very laboriously loading in. Oh my word, my friends list, all of the folders are randomly flipping open and closed. That is remarkably hard on the eyes.
Okay.
Christ. Okay. Right.
So, yeah, there we go. So is that official from our production then? Is this a cold game? Okay. So apologies to all the viewers. We hope to bring you a concluded series. We in Europe love ties, so we're going to bring you a final score of 1-1 from that series. If you want to see the latest scores, you can look at the information sheet.
Sorry, you were removed from the party. What the does that mean?
I think we were all removed from the party tonight, if you know what I'm saying.
Third game too.
A quick rundown on some of the other scores that happened on the other stream. Whiffs Elite won against Team Augulus 2-0, and Sacramentum won off stream against Fireflies 2-0. OP Nerds against Slow Bros by the same scoreline. I think there's still 2 or 3 series to go ahead